Woo!
What's up?
Hey, brother.
What's up, man?
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you as well.
Long time. Well, this time at least I give you a heads up a little bit, not like on my wedding.
Yeah. Hey, I'm getting married tomorrow. Come on by.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't tell you to have a speech prepared.
Oh, that. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, what? If you hired the right videographers, they make you look good. So.
Sure. Work their magic.
Yeah, you look beautiful. Your speech was on point.
Yeah.
I knew the meaning. Mm-hmm. I knew what you meant, so like that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Probably should scoot in closer. There you go. Oh.
Okay.
Now we're talking. Don't be scared, bro.
It's a new experience,
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, there you go. And move closer. There you go. Now we're perfect. I should probably go move the camera a little bit, huh?
You do you.
Yeah, let me go do that.
All right. I'm still getting used to hearing myself through these headphones. You want to start all over again then? Or
No.
Okay.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. You seen that video? One of these news anchors on Fox that's like so tidy and like has his shit together.
Yeah.
Never says the wrong thing, and like I don't know who leaked it out, but a video of him like losing his shit because he's trying to fucking say this one line over and over and over again. So either somebody's messing him up or he's messing up.
Sure.
He's getting frustrated, and then literally at the end of it, he's like, they're running out of time to make that take. He's like, "Fuck it, we'll do it live." I was like,
I think I did see it.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, okay." Let's not get angry here. I tried to tell my dad that on the last podcast. Dad, just tone it down. It's okay.
Yeah, I listened to your first one. I haven't listened to the one with your dad.
Very interesting. Like I said, it was like it went like very amazing. So I'll give my dad an excuse for the emotional ups and downs because he had a frontal lobe injury when he was younger from a horse bucking.
Wow.
And just right in the dome.
Yeah.
So people with frontal lobe injuries, they're known to they're Phineas Gage. It's a very famous psychology study where he was a very likable crewman on the railroad.
Sure, I read this one actually. Yeah,
amazing guy, all that.
Yeah.
There was a charge that was going off of dynamite, and there was one of those railroad spikes that when it went off, unfortunately, somehow he was like right in the way of it. He didn't maybe know like the dynamite was going off or something like that. That spike flew up and went straight through his dome, like into his eye. Like his eye was still functioning, but like it went straight through his eye and went from into his skull and then went from the top. So like this looked fine. This part. Oh shit! Let me go adjust. Got to be able to see our pretty faces, So yeah, this part was fine, but like literally just took out all of his frontal lobe. My dad obviously didn't have that, but like there's something to be said. He has like a indention, and he does struggle with controlling his emotions. But I told him, like, Dad, I mean, you're smart enough that you know that. And also, I don't know if you've ever heard this, because like in Russian, it's maybe not as common. It's like, if you can't control your emotions will control you. It's like, and I told him, like, we had a little talk after the podcast, and I told him, you noticed like when you were getting a little too emotionally wound up. He's like, no, just, like I speak with emotion. I'm like, well, let me tell you this quote, if you don't control it. And then also it's like, there's people that will use that against you. So whenever you feel yourself getting a little too emotional, just tonality is everything. Because I can tell you the same thing. I'll give you the most extreme example. Fuck you, dude. Or fuck you. tonality is everything.
I like that second one.
You know, so like he's starting to understand. He's so smart that like we had a conversation with him about, you know, like till the day that you die, you should try to be always improving, learning. And I'm like, Dad, you're so smart that I know that like 2 years from now when we talk, you're gonna be a different person. He's like, yeah. And I was like, so your dad lived to be 90, and how old are you planning to be? He's like 85 right now. He's like, well, at least 120. I'm like, all right. Well, I'm like, well, if you're gonna be 120, I'm 140, bro. So
I'm gonna one up you.
Yeah, I'm like, so we'll have at least 120 of these. Because nobody knows, you know, when our time is up, but at least 120 of these episodes, and each one we'll see the progress.
Okay.
And it's going to be more than once a year, you know, and I'll love to talk to you. And he had an amazing time, actually. And
yeah. Okay.
It was actually the first time that we really just sat down and talked. And
mm-hmm.
like in that kind of a way where we would always like, especially before we would go to like dinners and things like that, when we would sit down and like, you know, most people in the Slavic community, you know, like, oh, beer or wine or whatever. But I was like, Dad, it's like fucking kvass, you know, like вы там пьете, в церкви пьете, like it's a little bit of happy juice, you know, like
sure,
don't overdo it. But even if you overdo it, like fuck it, yeah, learn to use it.
Yeah.
And we would share beers and things like that. I mean, maybe I should be saying it, but whatever, Dad, it's out there.
Now the world knows.
Yeah. So, you know, he's actually one of those people that if you get him in the right state, and if you don't get him to that emotional state, he's actually very thoughtful, engaging, intelligent, innate intelligence and wisdom. But like I said, like you got to give the guy a little bit of slack, you know, for kind of like where he grew up and, you know, the kind of all that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And the reason why I invited you over was because you're one of those friends that like I really like to have a conversation with. And we had a conversation with my dad with about religion and things like that. It was hard for him to see my aspect of it because it's so different to what he grew up in. And I mean, we don't have to get like deep into it, and it's not like anything, but like I know that every time that we get together, if we do lead down that road, it's kind of interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Because you are religious, and there was a time that you were like super religious. And I was like, you know, you do you. Like if that's if that's your flag that you want to fly and that's the path to your enlightenment, like I'll respect that. Like it just didn't work for me. I had that conversation. It was very difficult for him to kind of understand that at first, but I think towards the end we really, really came to an understanding. That was really cool to see, because I told you, like, the mark of an intelligent person is to be able to look at ideas that might be different from yours.
And unfortunately, a lot of religious people, they somehow lose that, like in their religion or in their self-righteousness, whatever it may be. But that does happen.
I could see why. There's different reasons. I mean, like, I'm not here to judge, you know, because like I've been there too, you know, like in my own way outside of religion, you know, like we all go through that. Like if we decide not to be religious, we could be judgmental in the other way as well.
Okay, sure.
Right. So, but like I went beyond all that. I went past all that. I'm just like, hey, listen, as long as you understand me, you allow me to be me and find my own path. I don't care like whether your path is Jesus, like genuinely atheism, or you don't believe in anything, or if you believe in SpongeBob. I don't, you know, if that's where you find your wisdom,
sure, yeah,
you know, it's all good. You know, like, who am I to say that you have found the right path or I found the right path and you found the wrong path? Because like if everybody's screaming that you found the wrong path, then maybe everybody's lost. So like not all who are not on your path are lost.
Sure. Well, it's like that joke where the guy's driving on the freeway, calls his buddy up and says, "Hey, this is asshole driving the wrong way on the freeway." He's like, "Asshole? There's like all of them are driving the wrong way." So I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. See, like I like, and my dad, it's like I said, he has a lot of wisdom, but because he is 85, he grew up in that certain viewpoint for such a long time. But he like Mark to a fucking G. He's a gangster, like a thoughtful, like intellectual person that even though he's 85, if you talk to him in the right way, and dude, imagine like growing up for 85 years and you're just thinking like, this is from this window, this is what the world is. Mm-hmm. And he's on, hey, have you ever looked out that window? Like he's like, I don't know, it might be scary. I don't want to look over there. But then he's like, hey, if you say it that way, I'll think about it. So like I had to respect that a lot. And I went through my time of like hating him or whatever. There's dads still till they die, they never find that wisdom. Unfortunately, I have a brother that's dying of cancer, like not to bring it down too much, but till this day, he's like very angry, very like angry at the world, at people and everything like that. It's like, dude, you missed the fucking point. You missed the point.
Yeah.
We're on this earth not to, like, whatever the fuck our journey is supposed to be here. Who knows? Because I don't know. You don't know. Whoever tells you they know, don't trust that person. Because the person that says, I don't know, but this is my hunch, ask them. Like, they might have some nuggets of wisdom. They might not. It might not work for you. But the person says, hey, dude, I got the path. Follow me. It's like, oh, I don't want to follow down that road because you probably want something out of this, And, like, if you want something out of this, then we're not fucking friends,
Yeah. No, along those lines, I mean, several things I agree with, several things I disagree with. No, everyone does have their own journey, even in the Christian circle, even the religious circle. Like, no one finds God the same exact way. Maybe it's similar ways, but some people find it at 2 years old. Some people find it at 97. Like there's such a wide spectrum of. It's like a snowflake, right? Everyone has a unique journey, regardless. Mm-hmm. If it's Jesus one way or the other way, it's still unique to that individual. Mm-hmm. I mean, religious or not, I still hold to the view that there is one. I don't want to use the word rights, but there is an ultimate destination that we all need to prepare for, and that's where my religious side comes in. Mm-hmm. I do believe Jesus Christ is God, and that is the way to salvation. There is life after this life. But again, getting to this point where I'm at, it's been
a journey.
It's an atypical journey. Like, I could not have read this in a novel if I tried. Like,
and knowing how smart you are, that where you are right now, if we talk 2 years from now, even, you're still going to be like, oh my God, I came to like more, so who knows? Like, for me, it's been a bigger journey, longer journey. I'm 37. I'm not saying that you're going to end up where I've ended up, but like
37.
You're fucking 30, dude. You're not that.
I think if you didn't shave your hair, man, you'd be gray all over.
I was gray at 16, like I was saying.
That's right. You did say that.
So I still was fucking fabulous like I am now.
I don't doubt that.
I just at a certain point went, I think at like 27, it started to like recede on the sides, and I was like, when it did that, I was like, man, it kind of looks, I don't know if I like it. And like, I always had my hair kind of short. I was like, let me do it even shorter. Mm-hmm. Also, I was like, not that bad. Let me fucking shave it. I was in Mexico on vacation. I was like, dude, perfect time, dude. Get some sun, because like when you first shave your hair, you're hella white underneath.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll get a nice, beautiful tan. I was like, ooh, this is beautiful. I came back with this fucking beautiful olive complexion. I was like, dude, this is is my jam. So
Cool.
from that point on, I was like,
That goes for you. I've only known you as hairless Surj, so
I know. You'd be surprised to see me with hair, but like I have the same exact dome as my dad.
Yeah.
Like if you look at his shape of his head, I told you, like, dude, my revelation after the podcast was literally we're probably fucking clones. Besides the head injury, we're literally if you could clone him. I went through my phases of hating him or this or the other, then understanding him. And this, I'm like, holy shit. Like, because he's at 85. I better get to know how the fuck he got here and survived and didn't lose his shit.
And he's still hustling, man.
He's one of the only males in our immediate family that didn't lose his sanity. Like, unfortunately, you know about my family history. I didn't lose my sanity either. So I'm hoping at 85, I'm still kicking it, Like, I mean, obviously, I know, like, past a certain point, you've learned how to navigate this world so that, like, you don't get too down on yourself. You're not too harsh on yourself or anything. That's where it leads you astray. And like I was telling my friend, I was only just lucky and fortunate that I had a lot of soldiers that went ahead of me. My brothers and my sisters. I'm the 10th in the family, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a dark path. I don't know if I can go down there." So like, I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, you don't want to go that way or this way," Yeah. But when my younger brother kind of, unfortunately lost his battle with reality, that was another revelation because I thought it was like the older siblings, because they lived through a hard time. That was my understanding of it. And then I realized, okay, so for him, it was different. He was very harsh on himself. And he's a very nice person. He's very compassionate, very kind, like cares for people so much. But like I said, I've met so many people after that experience that like are so nice to everybody else. But the number one person they fucking forgot to be nice to. And they talk to themselves like they would never talk to anybody else. Have you ever like came across that? Like, I mean, you're always nice. You don't really battle that. Like, and you guys don't really struggle with like any kind of like a mental instability or health or anything like that. But like for you, I know when I met you, you were like this happy-go-lucky guy and all that. Like you were living your like youthful life. And then one day you're like, dude, Surj, I found Jesus Christ. I'm like, oh, fuck, I lost another one. But then, like, we worked through it, because I was, like, kind of scared because I saw that happen to my brother. And I was like, dude, just Fox, I hope you don't, like, lead down too much of a dark road.
When was this? I don't...
when you found Jesus?
This conversation that, like, you're speaking about.
When I really came to that revelation was after my divorce. So I was married for about 11 months. I always say it was a practice run. I learned a lot of things what not to do.
Sure, yeah.
And then, like a month after I just had to leave that situation, I end up inviting all my friends to a cabin in Tahoe. And we're there talking, and you were telling me about like how Jesus says this and the scripture says this, and I'm like, okay, I understand it. I'm like, I hope, like, and I'm talking to you, and I'm hearing you say it, and I'm like, seems like he's trying to understand it from what the pastors are saying, and also trying to be also respectful and incorporate it for himself and understand it in the way, not like just bully pulpit, like tell people like this is how it should be. Sure. You had a little bit. I was like, oh man, I hope I don't lose this guy too. Like I was scared, because I just recently, like before that, like my younger brother just lost,
right? Yeah.
His contact with reality, basically.
It's too bad.
Yeah. I had that conversation with my dad. It's like, you're predisposed genetically sometimes, and but I always liken it to this. It's almost like a river, right? It's easier for a river to flow where there's least resistance. Mm-hmm. So if your genetics predispose you to a certain kind of predisposition, like whatever, it's going to be easier for you to excel or not excel in that because you're just going to go there. So for them, it was easy to lose their way because I think also because they're very gifted in a lot of ways, like mentally, all this other stuff. But I had this conversation with my dad. It's like, if you have a tractor for a mind, dude, you can throw fucking stones in the fucking fuel tank. It'll still tick, you know? Gotcha. It's all good. But if you have a Ferrari, let's say, and let's not be too egotistic and think that you have a Ferrari, but let's say if you have a more fine-tuned kind of brain, then if you don't know how to take care of it, it'll really fucking bite you in the ass, you know? So a lot of them didn't realize that. They had to really take care of themselves in order to come out of this unscathed.
Sure. No, I mean, I think we see that in our lives every day. You know, some people really need to work out to lose weight. Some people, they, you know, they'll fast for a day. And
I'm jealous of your fucking cardio, bro. Like,
you've been using that jump rope I gave you. I'm telling you, that is the best workout ever. Anyone listening to this, pick up the jump rope, stop running, throw away your running shoes, keep them, but don't run. And I'm telling you, man, that jump rope saved my life.
Yes.
Second to Jesus only.
Amen to that. Let's cheers to that.
Cheers.
But this is where it comes into, like, I'm jealous. I don't have the fucking nuts to do jump rope. Like, I literally, my cardio is not even that good. Jump rope kicks my ass.
As it should. That's the idea.
Dude, so, like, this is where I figured out that we're built different. Me, you, and a lot of other people. I'm into swimming, right? I took multiple semesters in college of swimming.
Sure. Yeah.
After that, I wanted to lose weight, and I started going with my buddy. I just quit smoking cigarettes, and
That's right. You used to smoke.
Yeah. From 16, before my mom, right after my mom passed away, and then until 19, and then from 24 to 25. And then I haven't picked up a cigarette after
and
that.
It used to be around us, and we used to smoke all the time. And no urge, no nothing.
Yeah, and I never judged you guys. I never said anything yet. And so I go with my buddy, and we start swimming, right? And he was like this guy that smokes even harder than I smoked. This motherfucker would kick my ass in the pool.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck and how the fuck? You know? Yeah. And I'm like, all right, some people are just, like I said, genetically different, but doesn't mean that you're gifted in everything.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can have physical talents or mental talents, or really good with money, or of course, Surj. So the parts of your life that you're not good at, though, I think you need to spend more time on those parts, right? Because if you excel in finance,
yes and no,
excel physically, why would you spend more time there?
I follow this guy, Marshall Wilkins, on Instagram. By the way, if anybody wants to be a fucking badass, you should follow him. He went to an Ivy League school and everything. His dad was, a construction worker, ran his own thing, whatever. He wanted his kid to excel. So he was like, hey, listen, I'm going to be hard on you, but I'm going to guide you because I know that you're capable of this. So he was like, I never regretted the fact that my dad, was a hard ass on me at times, but it was with love. And other times he would be there for me when I was struggling and everything like that. Long story short of that is this guy kicks ass, whatever he does. And he has a lot of brilliant insights about what makes people great and what doesn't. The point that you were just about to make, I agree with you to a certain point. And I used to be way more than that. But when I heard Marshall say this, I was like, fuck that. That's even more real than what I thought before. So what he said was, dude, this rocket ship fucking trip on Earth is too short for you to focus on your negatives. Yes, try to maybe work on those. That shouldn't be your main focus. Figure out what you excel at and ride that fucking spaceship right into your future. Right? Focus on what you excel at. go balls in on that and hire the people that are exceptionally good at the things that you suck at to be on your team.
Okay.
Hire or be around those people so you can pick it up or whatever, just like you said. Because being around other people that are good at something that you're not good at, that's how I got good at, like, you know, my emotional intelligence, all this other stuff. Because I was like, okay, I'm lacking at that. Physically, I'm not around people that are really aware of that. I got to expose myself to like more people that are more like that. So like I was having the conversation with you earlier. We're lucky that it doesn't have to be the physically closest people around you. There's podcasts, there's YouTube, there's articles, everything. You just, I would always listen to Rogan. He would put on a lot of different people, and like I would see that person's perspective. I would see that person's perspective, and through that, I was exposed to like great minds, and I was able to take in and absorb all that. Yeah.
No, Robert Kiyosaki, man, Rich Dad Poor Dad guy.
Yeah,
man. That's what led me on to the whole YouTube thing. Is you have access to just the brilliant minds of our times, and not even our times, because a lot of these brilliant minds, they just refer to work that people did, you know, a century
stand on
ago.
the shoulders of giants. Yeah,
oh, absolutely, man. And the wealth of information you can digest in such a short amount of time, it's just, first of all, it's overwhelming. There's just a torrent of information that you can take in. But yeah, we live in such an age that you can do anything.
If you set your mind to it, and if you're motivated, because for me, the biggest struggle actually, and my wife will tell you this, was I was really just down on myself, and because I was not motivated. And then I heard this quote, and then when I said it to her, she was like, "Oh, that's so you." And the quote is, "You're not tired. You're just not motivated." Because, you know, like sometimes when you're super, like, had a long ass day, but then like there's a second wind that kicks in, and you're just like, fuck, all of a sudden you got all this energy or whatever. Or you slept good, whatever, you wake up and the whole day is wasted, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, because you're not motivated. You didn't find what actually motivates to get you going.
Sure, okay. I mean, but there's also like the other side of that, right? Like Maslow's hierarchy, right? If you don't meet the basic needs of, like, you know, just food, and then like safety and security, and then like I believe it's like self something, and then eventually it's like self-esteem or self-acknowledgement, where you can, that's where you go to a higher purpose stuff. We live in an
age that like you really don't worry about any of that's those. An issue. So you have to go beyond that. It's more like the psychological motivation and the figuring out yourself, and like do I want it? What the fuck do I want to do for the rest of my life? That's like the like what are we here for? Like a lot of people have like these very deep emotional questions that they are not even able to acknowledge to other people, because they're like, should I even be thinking about this shit? Like, am I just being too much of a pussy, you know? Like, but like everybody deals with that.
And along those same lines, I've been just growing up, I was very vocal about my issues, like whatever issues I might have had, you know, just psychological, emotional.
That's why I like talking to you all the time.
Yeah. And then like, even so, I went to I spoke with the pastor and like had some counseling with him, and I just like, I told him everything. I didn't hold back at all, and it was very liberating. But afterwards, he's like, Arthur, you know, be careful who you tell this to, because me and you, we're good, but like other people aren't.
But that's how you realize what people matter, or what people know what to say, and then you just adjust from that.
No, I get that. But no, his whole point, I mean, a lot of people they're not as open as, I mean, I grew up not giving a shit. Like,
same.
It's amazing, right? I love that.
Everybody should take more of that.
I agree. And
but like giving a shit, but with kindness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, like not really caring about like, oh, that person cares about what car you drive or what you wear. Or
I learned that from you, because I was such a fucking materialistic bitch.
God, man. Yeah. Oh, your car, and yeah, man. That was
Don't
a nice
judge
car.
me right now.
I love that car though.
I know. I had a lot of decent ones.
Yeah, but no, like that's just, it was very. I mean, I had that as an innate quality, to be honest, which was amazing. It's done a lot for me. But yeah, a lot of people hold back because they are afraid of how others are going to judge them. But like, say you have an issue, how are you going to find help for that issue if you don't share your issue with other people.
Yeah,
I'm not saying tell everyone.
A lot of people hold that shit in.
Yeah.
That's the worst place to keep it.
Yeah. I mean, don't post it on social media, but find someone that can help you.
Find an outlet. Find
a counselor or a pastor or, right? Like,
let her fly. Let her grow in a different pasture, not inside of you. Because, like, that fucking anger and all that bullshit, the angst, if it grows inside of you, fucking it'll destroy you.
Plus, like you quoted, life is short, right? It's a rocket ship, right? It's gonna go, it's gonna fly by you. So why waste it?
Try different things.
Try different things, but like deal with your shit and then like move on. Because if you don't deal with that, like your motivation side, if you didn't have that motivation, you never would have done anything. That way, you would have been stuck there, right? Yeah. With the lack of motivation. So cross that barrier. Once you're there, it's so liberating. The options that you're exposed to and your things you can discover and explore. But I mean, you do have to cross that initial motivation, whatever's keeping you back. Say it's a mental illness, even, or a physical illness, or
emotional instability, or whatever. Yeah, whatever it doesn't have to be that extreme. Yeah, like we all suffer through like these downturns in our life or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But if we don't get the right counseling, like whatever it is from a mentor, a friend, or whatever. You don't want to be fucking stuck there for the rest of your life.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, we are social people. Like, I don't care if you're an introvert, you don't like talking to people, but at the end of the day, you're still social to some extent.
You're a fucking social dude. Like, why in prisons now, what the fuck is it called? Like the isolation? Like,
oh yeah, when you misbehave, they put you in
solitary confinement is being outlawed in so many states because it is so destructive, because we are fucking social creatures, like it or not. You might hate people, whatever, but like, guess what? Maybe there's extremes. There are actually extremes that people like love. There's one guy that fucking lives on an island. He's been there for fucking 40 years, right? Okay. He left his family and kids and everything.
Damn.
Crazy. But let's not look at the fucking extremes and extrapolate our data from that, right?
Of course.
We are social creatures. And like, the faster you realize that, the faster you make those good connections, the more you're going to be stronger in this life and figure out shit faster.
Yeah. So
making those right connections, that's all it's about.
Yeah, and like you said, in our day and age, like, we don't have to worry about, your basic survival things like my parents did. Like, starvation was a thing. Like, we have the opposite problem. I talked
to my dad, dude. It was a fucking real thing.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Like, imagine not being able to go to your local Rayleigh's grocery store or whatever.
Bro, let me give you an even more extreme example. This is how my dad is a fucking G, and his dad was the original fucking G. Imagine having to grapple with starvation, but then grapple with your faith. And what does it say in the Bible? Do not steal.
Yeah.
So you have the Russian Red Army come in, and they have the collective farm. What that fucking means is, like, we take from you and we give you just enough to survive. Yeah. And it was actually not, and that's why everybody died from starvation.
Yeah.
And my dad's dad, this is where my dad was telling me, he was like, dude, when I saw that was like the biggest example for me of how to be a man. You live up to your fucking beliefs no matter what, and you'll fucking figure it out. He was like, I'm 17, and the collective fucking infrastructure was established, everything else, and we're supposed to take all of our food over to the collective farm. We don't have anything. And I see it, he's like, I'm 17, and I have my eye on this, like, neighbor girl. And I'm like, oh, and I see her in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go say hi. And then I see she's, like, walking somewhere. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I see her mom walking with her. And then I see, like, her whole family walking. And they're walking to that pile of potatoes and all that they were supposed to give to the collective. And they're taking some for themselves. And he's like, I don't know. My dad tells me, like, it's bad to steal. Are we stealing, or are we just taking what was ours? And I was like, I wanted to ask my dad. And his dad's like, Ilarion, his dad's name is Nikolai. He's like, Ilarion, Larik, he would call him. Знаешь, если Бог это так сделал, Бог нас из этого и спасет. I was like, okay, well, how about your fucking family, dude? Like, how are you going to survive through this? And I was like, so how did your dad figure this out? And he was like, you know, he took what they gave us, the little measerly things, and he just planted it, and they lived off of the sprouts of the onions over the season and some other things, and they had a cow, and they would live off the milk and everything. He's like, we never stole a single thing. I'm like, fuck, that's gangster. Like to have such a deep belief in your faith, you know, like, or just like your own fucking inner self of righteousness. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That, no matter if you're religious or not, that is something that, like, oh my God, like, I fucking respect that.
Yeah, I held on to his convictions. That is nuts.
Yeah, and if you do, you fucking figure it out. Either you'll figure it out, or because the person will see just how committed you are to your convictions, they'll be there and be like, you know what, fuck it, I respect that. Let me help you out. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could also take that idea and like apply it to just like your everyday social whatevers, right? Like, say, a good buddy of yours, steals money from you, or right, does something really bad from you. Like,
I've had it happen.
Yeah, we all have, man. And like, what you can react a few different ways, but one way you can react is like, okay, you stole from me, whatever. I'm not gonna be mad at you, but you go your separate way and kind of just move on for that. Like, you just stay.
When I was younger, yeah, you'd have that anger.
Oh yeah,
and you'd be like, "Fuck you," but then like, okay, well, do you want to take it to the next level and do something stupid? It's like, no, but like that person will get, like, like I came to the conclusion, nice people might lose sometimes, but they ultimately win in the end. Mean people or selfish people, they might have some wins. But man, it's fucking sad.
I think they
always lose.
Yeah, they trade the long-term benefits for the short-term gains. Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, our family's rife with that. Like, a lot of our family doesn't talk to each other because of it. Because like someone screwed someone over. And,
well, I don't talk to a lot of my siblings, and for a good reason. Me and my dad actually have this conversation. Like, «Поведешься с дураком, наберешься».
Well, sure, yeah.
So like sometimes like, and I've learned recently they're not always in that state. So like, you got to give credit when a person like loses their shit. They for whatever reason, like I said, everybody struggles with reality, mental health, whatever. When they're out of that state, don't just mark them as that. There's only one brother that always been like that, but I know a couple of them. Like, it's either a 2-year cycle or a 3-year cycle, or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll figure out by the time that they're older, or whatever. And it's like, but when they're in that state, I don't want to pick up any of that shit that you're dropping. So it's like, if it's not good for me, it's definitely not good for you, and it's not up to me to prove it to you that you're better. It's for you to prove that, like, you're better now.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm a nice person, but like, a lot of nice people give too many chances to not nice people.
Well, yeah. I mean, plus that whole idea, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make that horse drink the water.
Yeah.
So
and nice people make the mistake of like just fucking thinking like, well, if I just tap the water and okay, come here. No, dude. Like, they just don't give a fuck. Some people don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Plus, you're right. It's in that moment, at that time, maybe it's just not the right time to do that.
Exactly. Like I said, everybody learns on their own time, on their own path.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, even like,
just do you.
Drug addiction, right? If the drug addict doesn't want to change and like make a serious strides in the
drug
recovery,
addiction is another fucking weird thing. Oh my God, that was like another like weird path for me to figure out with my friends, for myself, because I was just only addicted to like cigarettes, But I've seen how much of a toll it took on a lot of people, and especially in the Slavic community, in the Russian community over here in Sacramento.
No, I really, our culture that we live in, like, look at any Netflix video, look at any, God, just all our media is just, it paints drug addiction as this euphoric experience that only enriches your life.
Sometimes, yes.
But for the most part, though, I mean, how...
Depends. There are drugs that are not physically addictive.
Well, sure.
And not mentally destructive.
I get, yeah, right. There's your psychedelics
and to each his own, because like
that.
people are allergic to peanuts, you know. So like you'd be like, oh, fucking peanuts are so delicious, and it's like you give it to a person like, what?
Sure, no, I get what you're saying. Like I know there's studies with like even ketamine isn't like as like harmful as they think it is.
Yeah.
And even like in medicine, like a lot of anesthesiologists that start using ketamine, they're
psychedelics.
Like, this is an amazing drug. Why aren't we using ketamine more? Right?
Yeah, and fucking credit to America and the FDA, not like Russia or whatever. They're like, hey, we fucked up. Let's learn from the lessons that we did. Like, let's look at the things, you know, like let's look at it from a different perspective.
Sure.
There's a reason why they went.
Yeah.
Balls to the wall against drugs during the 70s. Some good reasons, some bad reasons. But now they're like, hey, let's not just be stuck in our old ways. Like, let's look at with new perspective on this or that or whatever. And there's a lot of studies now done on like you said, ketamine, mushrooms, like psychedelics, like all these different things where it's just like, there's a lot of benefit. And like it's everything, like I had a conversation. Everything is a drug. Food is a drug. People fucking medicate themselves with that shit to the point of fucking death. God. So you gotta be like, don't judge another person just because they're fucking sinning in a different way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, America's weird, right? Because like you go to the rest of the world and like, you know, food's not as readily available and like people just aren't as fat. You know, it's really like a first world problem is this whole obesity crisis. And how are we not going to address that as what it is? It's a crisis. Like obesity is so bad for you. Like, I mean, drugs are bad too, but
it's all it is self-control. You just distill it down to that.
No, I get that.
Because alcohol is not bad. Certain drugs are not bad. Like if it's a drug that it makes you over time physically addicted, and it's like that insidious kind of fucked up thing where it's like initially it's like, oh, this is amazing. This is transformative. And then the more you use it, you don't even feel good. You're just trying to feel fucking normal. That's fucked up. That is dark. So like it's a matter of figuring it out. Like nothing's bad, nothing's good. A knife could kill, a knife could sustain and make food. So don't be so fucking too smart for your own good and say like, oh, I figured it out. The fucking knives are bad. Let's fucking outlaw all knives, you know?
They try that in the UK. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't have guns.
That's why I fucking love America, you know?
Yeah.
They try to like look at a more broad perspective.
Yeah. Speaking of America, government, Surj, what is your take on government? Because my views on government
is stupid, and they're lagging. But the best government probably is in America because they built it on top of fucked up examples. They're like, well, we don't want that to happen here. To the best of our abilities, you got to give credit to our founding fathers.
Right, but we're nowhere near what we used to be back in 1776.
Oh shit!
T-shirt, so it's just so everyone sees. Represent.
Yes, but I would never want to fucking live in 1776.
Oh well,
I love 2021.
Oh god, we have it good, man.
Yeah. So what are you telling me right now?
No, my point is, we were talking.
You take the good with the bad. That we evolve as human beings, and we had this conversation with Aaron on the first podcast. As a whole, society moves in the positive direction. There's good and bad that comes with it. There's dips. There's back and forth, whatever. Maybe you might not like it this way or that way. So tell me, actually, like, what is your view on it?
Well, no, yeah. I think I heard when you mentioned that on your podcast with Aaron. I'm like, whoa, like that is not what I've seen. Like it's always, society always regresses, it never progresses. Like say from 1776, have we really evolved? Have we gotten better? Like
in what way? You're talking about like you think in morality or something
Well,
like
let's
that.
just talk about morality. Did we really get better from 1776? Like
I
today?
think so. 100%.
You think people are more, I guess, more moral?
Would you like to have slaves today?
Okay, so beyond slavery, though.
Beyond what? What else do you want to ask me?
Okay, so beyond slavery, are we more moral today than, say, we were back then?
To the hell yeah.
How's that?
Bro, if I talked to you in 1776, I literally would probably not like you. Because even though I'd understand you, I'd have to have like some very long talks with you. But you wouldn't like yourself either. And you wouldn't like you would understand them, but they live in a different time. Just like you can't really judge your parents because they live in a different time. But like, I fucking love living today, and I would love to be here 100 years from now because it would be even more fucking awesome.
See, I see it the opposite way. I think society is just
regressing
year by year.
Get stuck on that, yeah.
Well, I mean, look at traditional values. Like those are going out.
Did you miss the point that I was making?
I did completely.
Tune your channel. Like, because if all you do is zoom in to this fucking cup, all you'll see is there's a spot there. Do you see it? Like, there's a spot there, right? But if I told you, like, yo, listen, oh, bro, it's beautiful. Like, zoom out. Like, there's only one little spot there. But you look at it like it's a beautiful cup. It's, it's got beautiful liquid in there. Like, it's glowing.
You're saying broaden your perspective, see the big picture.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. Well, let's even go with that. Big picture. How is today different from 20 years ago? Like, how is it better, even in the big picture? Like, how
when I used to drive behind cars on the freeway, I would fucking I had asthma attacks when I was like little because of like the pollution and everything like that. And even just driving over here in America 20 years ago, you still like drive behind cars that are carbureted, like, and you fucking bring that shit in. It's not good for you, right?
Okay, pollution.
That's one way. Pollution.
We've gotten better in pollution.
What else? The houses are fucking awesome now compared to like they're more efficient, more beautiful, like relatively more affordable. Yeah, you might say like, oh no, fucking with this housing market. Have you seen how people tried to buy houses in the 30s? Good luck with that shit. Like literally, you would have to fucking borrow from a friend of a friend, and then maybe you would be able to, and that was probably half of your fucking income that you were putting in towards a house, if you were lucky.
So by having loans more accessible, we're living better?
Everything.
I think technology's gotten better. Sure, the financial infrastructure is...
What got worse?
Government. Again, full circle. Government. Government's gotten worse. It's
the good and the bad about government is they're stupid.
Okay, well, let's think about back from our parents' time.
Our founding fathers set it up that government doesn't get too clever for its own good. They set it up that way.
Let's go back to where my parents and your parents come from. Like, that is government at its, like, just...
most fucked up.
Well, in its fullest sense, that's, like, government controlling the free market, controlling everything.
Yeah.
Right? It was essentially planned economy, and that's why it failed. That's why...
Because you think...
Are we not going that way? With all the regulations, with all the taxes, with our fiscal policy being essentially our monetary policy now, which has never been the case in history before.
Would you like to be in an age before the FDA?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So you're one of those that like would love to burn it all down and fucking... Because you got it all figured out.
You believe that FDA is a good thing.
So in 1917, when the Bolsheviks took over, they were like, yo, these guys are fucked up. We're going to burn it all down. Like, we got this figured out. What did they figure out? That they could make a more fucked up government than what actually was.
Well, the Bolsheviks were just a precursor to what was communism back in the day. They're the ones that... No, I don't want that at all.
So don't listen to your channel. There's a lot of people nowadays like, let's burn it all down. It's all fucked up. Like, listen, shut the fuck up.
No, I'm not for
It's
that
not
at
that
all.
bad. It's not that bad.
No, we have it great in America compared to all of Europe, compared to even...
You can find anything to complain about.
Yeah, but doesn't mean that there's nothing...
Yes, there's problems.
worth
Is there less problems
addressing.
than there were in the 1960s? Is there less problems than there were even like 20 years ago? Yes.
Less problems today?
Yes.
Surj,
We're
I
mo-
don't... No,
No?
we're going in a very bad direction. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so I want to hear your perspective on that.
Well, I mean, like, the one issue that really is glaring to me is... let's talk about inflation. Where that's at. So fiscal policy, monetary policy, where that's at.
Yeah.
So your mom, or at least my mom and my grandma, would always save cash under the mattress.
You know,
Right.
inflation got to like 6% in 1935 or something. It got crazy right after the Great Depression.
I'm sure it did.
Oh, are we there?
I think we're well beyond that.
Oh,
you kidding me?
You listen to the fucking crazy schizophrenic on the street, they'll tell you we're just minutes away from doom.
Surj, we've literally printed 20% of the money supply in the last, year?
Let's go fucking with fucking pitchforks on the street, bro.
Well, so here's my point, is that my mom, who's saving cash under the mattress...
Cash is fucking trash.
Yeah, but the boomer population there, they still believe in the government. They still believe in...
That's why I say try to be smarter every day.
Oh, I'm for that, Surj. I know. I have hedged my
Because if you still
bets.
think cash is where it's at,
My point is, Surj, not everyone's as smart as me and you. Okay,
but
If
they have
we're-
the access to a lot of information.
They do now, but my
What-
mom barely can log into her Amazon account.
Well, what are you doing about that?
I got her essentially a brand new computer, right? And I'm like, hey, mom, all we need to do is log into your Amazon and log into your bank stuff, and this computer's good to go.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's all we need to do. He's like, oh, Arthur, it's going to take so much time, and I'm not...
Yeah.
I'm not ready
Imagine
for
my
this.
dad, 85.
Okay. So, right, they have access to this, but, Surj, they're not using this new technology. They're not...
I don't give a fuck. If you want everybody to that's where the Bolsheviks were able to really manipulate the society. They're like, hey, we'll take care of you.
Well, exactly.
They were not there to take care of people. They were there to take care of themselves.
So the boomer population does have their faith in the government. That
but there's
Social
a lot of
Security.
resources there.
Yeah, but they're not using these resources, Surj. Like step out.
Okay,
They
you
should.
can lead a horse to.
Yeah, I agree
water.
with you. I agree with you 100%. They have access to these resources. It is on them for not using them.
So why are you blaming the system for the lack of motivation from people?
I'm not blaming the system per se. I'm just saying if we are going to be better people, we got to recognize not everyone's as smart as me and you.
We're trying. I think everybody's trying more than anywhere else.
I think people are a lot more selfish than they ever were. They're more self-indulgent.
We don't have a central government or some central system that's saying like, hey, listen, we're here to take care of you. And a lot of people get lost in the signal because they're like, there's nobody really out for me, But when you come along and a person tells you I got all the answers, you fucking better be careful.
Well, isn't that the U.S. government for you and every government for that fact?
They try.
Well, I mean, but our parents they came from a Soviet society, so they're still a little more cautious. But let's talk about like everyday
There should be a
American.
little bit more. I'm not going to disagree with you, but you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
And what do you mean by that?
So the bathwater gets dirty after.
No,
you
I get the
wash
analogy,
baby.
but how are you relating it to your
The
point?
fucking system works.
It works until it doesn't, though. It's gonna collapse under its own weight.
Tell me when it does, and I'll tell you.
Well, okay, case in point, our U.S. debt. Where's that at?
Tell me around the world. How is it compared to that?
We
Tell me where the rest of the world went through all this shit and where they're at.
We're the highest. We're the most indebted nation in the world. What do you mean? I mean, we're not. So our
They're
debt.
Really?
Absolutely. There's
more than Italy.
every single
Brazil,
country. We have
we
so
are.
much more debt than everyone
Are you
else.
talking about amount wise?
Yeah, I mean in
GDP-wise?
absolute sense.
So if I have 5 pennies to my name and I'm in debt $10, I'm fucked. But if
I
I'm
get
in
what you're
debt $10 and I have $10 million, I don't give a fuck.
I get what you're saying. We're still good
Then what the
relative
fuck
to our
are you
GDP.
saying? What are you like? Are you really trying to find this like shit? You're listening to too much bullshit.
Our
Check
original
your channel.
our original point, Surj, is
Yeah.
that the world is getting worse, not better. That was my argument, and you're saying the opposite.
You're struggling with that point.
See, that's the funny part is though, like even knowing this, I'm still a happy person. I'm still.
I know, like that's where you're an anomaly because most people that I know that think that way,
Oh,
they're
they
like
get so depressed and whatever.
Yeah. Oh, bro.
I think we need to be educated, but like you just accept it as, say, once you know something, you accept it as a fact, and you move on, and you do what you can for yourself.
Yeah.
There's no point on being sad and depressed about it. Like
just revert to focusing back on yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm all for that.
Because you can't do about the system. You can't do about the
know.
fucking universe, whatever.
I know, I'm all for that.
Yeah, that's honestly why we're friends. Like, you're one of my best friends, honestly. Like,
yeah?
Because I grew up with the opposite of that. Like, seeing the pessimistic side of it and then seeing what it does in terms of the destruction mentally and all that.
Okay.
But you're one of those people that could see it in the negative sense, but still be like, you know what? Like, listen, I'm just going to fucking do me. Because, like, either we could do that about it, and, like, I'm not going to get too down about it. I respect that.
Well, it goes back to what you said earlier, too, is life is short. Like, why are you going to dwell on, like, the depressing stuff? Like, it's just, you got X amount of time.
Bro,
might as well enjoy as much of it as you can. Like, there's no
tell
point.
That to all the people that are in mental hospitals and all this shit.
Man,
like, suffering from alcoholism or, you know, worse. Like, it's easier said than done, and it's very rare. That's why we're friends, like I told you.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is. I mean, like I said, we were talking about journeys earlier. Yeah, I mean, my journey has been just like all over the place for me to get where I'm at. But I mean, doesn't mean other people shouldn't strive for the same thing. Not maybe the same journey, but everyone should strive to be a better relative to themselves.
Yeah, and I always say, like, don't be too harsh on another person just because they're not on your path.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, we all make our own mistakes. You're gonna judge that person for making that mistake. Guess what? Like, fucking funny thing about life, it'll make you fucking make a much worse mistake.
Yeah.
And then what?
No, I'm sure you've had this where you like might have maybe not judged someone, but like you're like, oh, why are they struggling with that? That's just such a small thing. And then you go through it, you're like, oh, now I get it.
Or you go through a different thing that you thought was so simple, and you're like, oh, am I that fucking stupid? I can't figure this out.
I've had a few moments though like that in my life to where I'm like, okay, now I can't really like dismiss anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like depression for one thing. When I was growing up, I'm like, what the hell? Why are you depressed? That is such a stupid thing. Like, is that a real thing?
Yeah.
And then like in my 20s somewhere, I got real depressed. I'm like, oh, that's okay.
That's a real thing.
It's a real thing. So yeah, now I don't like even like
but
things.
It was almost too real for me when I was growing up, but now it's like depression is not necessarily bad. It's just your mind telling you to step back and analyze some things.
Yeah, no, right. Even like a pain.
Don't be too hard on yourself, especially when you're like down and that kind of like slightly depressive state.
Absolutely.
It's okay to fucking dude. It's even okay to cry. Okay, like fucking you think about some shit. And then you come out of it much better if you allow yourself to go through that journey.
Yeah.
You try to be like, no, fuck, I don't want to think about this. Well, guess what? You're literally just putting it back in where it's going to grow and it's going to destroy you. And then it's going to fucking pop out in the worst possible way. So, like, just sit with it. Sometimes you need to take that break.
Yeah.
Have that, like, slightly, it's called depression, not fucking insanity. It's called, you're like, slightly down. Like, you need to take that break, right?
Yeah.
But guess what leads to insanity? When you're like, I don't want to think about that. We'll fucking make you think about this shit.
Well, yeah, even like, I mean, along the same lines, like people, like we don't like pain, we don't like anxiety, we don't like feeling sad, but there's like these things are there for a reason, right? Say you didn't have any pain, right? You touch a hot stove, your hand's gonna burn off.
Yeah.
So like your anxiety too. So
I don't want to feel any pain. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, no, it's a great. It's not comfortable, but it's a great thing.
It's a fucking survival mechanism.
Exactly.
Well, so is depression.
Yeah, it's an indicator saying, hey, you're messing up.
Yeah.
Stop messing up.
Stop, listen, reevaluate.
Look, listen, feel.
Yeah. I'm proud. Because, you were like happy-go-lucky when I met you and everything like that. I told you about like some of my family struggles, and you're like, oh, you're so happy. You don't. I'm like, I don't really, but like I have my moments to go, really? I don't believe it. I was like, but it's part of life. You're like, and then I'm actually very glad to hear that like you're a fucking smart guy, dude. That's like why I always I like talking to you all the time, because like even though you might go down these extremes, but like the way that you're able to verbalize it and communicate it to me and to other people, I always value that.
Well, that's another thing too. If you can't like communicate it to someone else, I believe you don't really know what you're trying to, right?
Yeah, because you don't know your own bullshit that you're trying to fucking say.
Like whatever it may be, religion or even Bitcoin shit, trying to convince people why Bitcoin works. Like if you can't explain it yourself, then you need to reevaluate why you hold your position, because maybe your position's bullshit. Right?
Yeah, or you're listening to other people that like they have a certain reason for why they want Bitcoin.
Well, if those people can't articulate their position, then like why are you still?
Listen, it's not Jesus. Okay, Bitcoin is not Jesus. It's not savior to everything, but there's something to it. And like if you dismiss it outright or you think it's everything, you're just as dumb.
It's funny though, because I did feel like. So in Christianity is when you have that moment of salvation, it's like an eye-opening, like it's like awakening almost, right? It's like this like euphoric
revelation.
Yeah, right. So Bitcoin for a lot of people, including myself, was the same thing. Well, not exactly the same, but very close. To once I understood Bitcoin, I'm like, holy crap! Like this is just blew my. I even had a seminar. I even hosted a seminar or like a family seminar.
Yeah.
But no, and
do you ever listen to Lex Friedman?
I did a few times, and he just comes off as like a cocky asshole. Man.
Really?
Like,
oh my god!
Well, okay, the podcast I listened to, he prefaced everything with, "Oh, I don't make any money off of this, and I am doing this just to do it because I'm a great person." Fuck. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what am I listening to?
Because I think he's actually one of the most humble guys, but like this is where I always think
really?
I always think that I'm not cocky and I'm not as
no
egotistic as my dad, but then like where I realize, oh my god, I'm way more fucking egotistic than my dad. He has the same struggle because he actually has very similar thing to me. He's obviously way more successful than me.
Yeah.
But his dad is also Jewish and he's also Ashkenazi Jew, and he has that same fucking shit. He grew up kind of more on the positive side. He has a brother that kind of struggles with some shit. And he comes across to me as a very humble person, but like it's very interesting to see. Like it doesn't necessarily, but dude, if you look into what he's achieved to have the fucking humbleness that he does, I'd be like, dude, I'd be struggling to be fucking humble. I'd be out there fucking bitches and like be like, fuck this.
Sure.
So like you have to always look at a person like their overall accomplishments and everything and be like, okay, not honestly, like if you listen to it a little bit more, he does always he always says that he struggles with ego. He struggles with all this. One of the best examples of how to manage ego is probably him, because like he has a lot to be egotistic about. And he sat down with his dad also and had a podcast. And the way that he talked about it before he sat down, I was like, oh, this is going to be fucking tough. Like, you know, there's going to be some fighting or some other shit. And like, but the way they handle it, and his dad, like, you know, like they shared a fucking vodka that his dad saved for 40 years from Soviet Russia. And, you know, he whipped it out. And, you know, yeah, don't be too quick to judge people. I think that's
sure. Okay, my only issue with Lex Friedman was like, say Surj, like say you tell me, oh Arthur, I'm very humble, I'm amazing, this and that. Right?
If I tell you that, yeah, you already know I'm not.
So, but if like your wife comes out and it's like, hey Arthur, you know, like I've known Surj for a while and he's a very humble guy, and like I'll believe her over you.
Well, my wife is my best check on that, because she always kept on telling me, dude, you got some ego issues. I was like, nah, fuck you, dude. I was like, oh my god. The more that I live with her, I'm like, Okay.
She's a good wife. My point is like your own testimony of yourself is riddled with bias, no matter who you are.
Obviously,
But
but you
when
have to be
someone-
smart enough to know that, and he is.
No, but even that, Serge, you'll never be unbiased about yourself. Like
Yeah,
that's, I don't really think that's possible.
yeah.
So like if someone that knows you well, like tells me like, hey, yeah, he's like this.
This is what I always say. I always admire and take in fully sage advice from wise people, because you can be so full into your own bullshit, your own opinion, yourself, or whatever, good or bad. But like I said, you don't listen to every schizophrenic yelling on the street, as you're walking by. But there are very wise people in this world, and they won't give it to you straight. You might not like it.
No, of course.
But if you know that they are wise and they don't bullshit with themselves, they won't sugarcoat it, but they won't be too harsh on you. They'll be kind, but they won't fucking let you slide. I value those people over everything. Literally.
Yeah.
Because that is your guide in this life.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is though, those people are few and far in between.
No, but like I said, you could seek them out outside of your physical closeness.
Like YouTube or social media?
Social media. You see how they think, everything like that. I was fortunate enough to meet some of those people along my path, like personally. I know not everybody gets that, but you will if you're seeking that. Because if you seek it out like in social media first, and then you'll see a person in your real life and you're like, oh, that seems like a fucking person that is one of those sages in this world. I was like,
yeah.
And you have to figure out how to like approach it correctly or whatever. And like you over time get closer to them and everything like that. And like they transform your life.
I mean, how many people do you think you've met like that?
One.
Damn.
But goddamn, was it transformative?
No, I believe it, man. I've yet to meet that one. I've met people like that specialize in their field, like in certain things, like making money or. But as far even morally, I met only one like actual like Christian person. I'd feel that's just like a legitimate Christian. One. And I've talked to many pastors. I've been to many churches. One guy, just one, Surj, and I agree with you. They are a few in between, and it's funny because he's very obscure. Like he doesn't like have a big church. He's not very like ostentatious in what he does and flaunt it, but behind the scenes, like he
I
has.
actually like that we circle back to this subject.
We don't have to talk about religion.
No. I actually, because I want to.
I'm always game for religion.
I want to play something. And go ahead.
You gonna fill me up too?
Maybe.
Don't mind.
So
we're only an hour into our 4 hours. So
this is like we talked about. I filled this up with a different one, but it's very similar to what it was in there before. And I want to see.
Let's do it.
Okay, you have a lot more left in yours, but whatever.
There's a drop left in there.
No, it's not a drop.
Okay, 2 drops.
That's a drop for
bad.
you.
To each his own, Surj.
Why, Jesus.
Why talk about not judging people? Wow.
Cheers to that.
This guy.
Okay, so you met this guy. I actually want to hear.
The pastor I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, there's like some big names in the Christian circles, right? You have your John MacArthur's, you have your Billy Graham's, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Big names. This guy's never gonna have a big name. He does a mission trip out to Turkey twice a year. He has a few churches that he helped found and establish, and he just works behind the scenes, making sure that they function, that they run well, that they have what they need, and goes back to his life in Salem, Oregon, and works as a full-time roofer, right? Hard physical labor.
Okay.
And that's his life. He's got a small house with, has had 3 kids that are all grown up now. And it's very obscure. Like, you're never going to see, he's not really flashy, flamboyant, nothing. And
so far, I'm liking what I'm hearing.
And then this guy, he was, when I was going through my, I guess depression, let's call it what it is. He sat down with me, and for about an hour, we had just the longest conversation about everything. And he explained to me just everything in a spiritual sense. And it was extremely liberating, and it was a very pivotal moment in my life. But I would never have suspected him to be the person to help me out with that.
I like your choice of words. Got away with words.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. And
so we're talking about sages and those people that you very rarely meet in your life. I think,
and sometimes it doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. This person that I met literally was for the shortest fucking time in my life. But I'm going to mention it later on. You guys will know the person I'll talk. But out of respect to him, he was not preachy. He was not judgmental. Not like, if anybody met the person, they would say probably a lot of things. Until you get to sit down and talk to a person, you really don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it was a very short period in my life. And unfortunately, I didn't have more years with him. He passed away. But it was probably the most impactful lasting experience that I ever had in my life so far. I don't know if I'm lucky enough to in my future life, but I don't think I'd be the person that I am today. And I'm not the only one. Because when I was at his funeral, I realized how much of a gangster he was. Like, in the best sense of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, by like gangster, or, like, he found the God within him. Like the peace, the wisdom. You sense that. You talk to certain people. But he was also smart enough to know that he had no ego about it. He did not want to be praised about it. Did not give a fuck like if you approved of him or not. But he valued that connection with the right people. He also realized there's fucked up people in here. I don't have to, be nice to everybody. Certain people are worth your time. And value every moment that you have with that person. You know what I mean? And he showed that more than anybody in my life. I mean, my dad is a gangster, right? He's a G. Like, he's got... I thank whoever, like baby Jesus upstairs, like, that I was born, like, I mean, a lot of my brothers might not, but I was able to navigate through that toughness of like being born into this. But even more than my dad, this person left a lasting impact that I think will resonate with me till the end of my life. So that's what you should, if you're fortunate or lucky enough, you should seek that out. But don't put them too high of a pedestal, though. Because their point is to find that within yourself, not like to keep on coming back to them
for a refill. Yeah,
I don't mind. He didn't mind, but every time he encouraged for me, and I was not a needy person. It's just like, literally, my interactions with him, it was just like mutual fucking just joy, But every time we left, every time we interacted, I was like, there's something there. He knew that there was something there between me and him. I had no fucking thing that I wanted from him. He literally, what the fuck could I give him? He was successful beyond my fucking beliefs, But there was some kind of connection. And we just appreciated that mutual connection. That's all. And when he passed away, I recognized that wasn't just with me. It was like with all the people in his family around him. I was like, I'm not even anywhere close to that, you know? But if he could leave this life having some kind of a positive impact on at least some people, like, I think you would die a happy person. You know what I mean? Like, my mom, like, if I bring it back to like something closer, my mom kind of had that, you know? So like, even people that didn't really know her, they speak of her almost like in these reverent terms. Like, I miss her. Like, you're fucking 3, dude. You don't know her, but she had that aura about her, you know? Like even if you look at any of her pictures, like her tombstone, like you look at her picture, the smile, like even like when she passed away, like where your face like reverts to, it was just like this peaceful smile. Like in her box, whatever, you know, like it was weird for me to like live through that, you know, because I'm like, everybody was kissing her. I'm like, I know it's not her, you know, it's like it's cold body or whatever. I knew I had to do that because it's like you're paying respect. But I was looking at her, I'm like, that is her, you know, because like her face just naturally just relaxed to like this peaceful smile. And till this day, people like miss her, all this other stuff. Like, listen, be fucking thankful for the time that you had with that person. Like, don't be sad about that they're not there. Just like be great. Like, not everybody comes along. Yeah. You know, in your life that's that special. Fucking be grateful. Don't be sad about the fact that they're gone.
Yeah. No, you never talked about your mom before. This is
dude, like I had a lot of time. I understood it innately.
No, I mean, I've known you for so long. This is the first time you've like actually talked about her.
Yeah. And because only recently I've really like had a chance to really think about it. Because I internalized it like if I might say so myself, in a very intelligent way. But I never really, really understood it until like I really was able to sit down and think for myself, and allow myself to just like go on those trains of thoughts, you know, like I was never really afraid of like sadness or this or whatever, because I knew I was smart enough to go through it, you know, and come out of that stronger at the end. But because I had all this time off because of my back injury, because I'm kind of stupid and I fucking crashed the car for the 3rd time. But, you know, like, and fortunate and lucky that like I work at a place that gave me the opportunity to be off for this much to allow myself to heal. I had this time to like really sit and not just be focused on making money, and also just focus on myself. And I've been thinking a lot. And like my wife would even say like, oh, why are you like so like down sometimes or whatever? I'm like, babe, I'm not trying to go down that path. I'm just like thinking about these things because this is the first time that I actually had this opportunity to really sit down and be with myself. Yeah, in the truck, I'm driving, I'm thinking about different things. Like I was fortunate to be able to have that time to myself. But this is even more so. I'm literally at home. I don't have to give a fuck about anything. And for the first time, I was thinking about all these different things. And for the first time, I actually understood my mom. Imagine, she died when I was 16. At 37, I just understood my mom. You know what I mean? So that's why, you know, like we all go through different phases in our life. We meet different people. be grateful for the short time that you get to meet these people or interact, good or bad, because I've had some very bad influences in my life too. And after I got over the anger, I was grateful for that lesson because I will never forget it.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I just thought of a quote or a meme I saw. It's like when you think your kids, or your friends' kids are the bad influence, but you really were the bad influence.
True.
Yeah, no, that was definitely me. I was the bad influence in my friend circle. But,
yes and no, because like if you look at me, I could be considered a bad influence on like the younger generation, right?
No.
I'll tell you. I really don't give a fuck. Like, in the best sense possible. Like, if you smoke weed, if you do drugs, if you go to church and you're forced to go to church and you're smoking weed in the bush,
right before.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck. Because the way that I came to my inner peace was literally not giving a fuck and trying to figure it out for myself. You know what I mean? Like, and you care too much about other people, they'll make you care about them more than you should care about yourself. And you can't help other people if you don't give a fuck about yourself. Like, like the thing in the airlines, put your mask on first before you try helping other people, because you try to fucking run around and help other people, you'll fucking die. And what use is that?
That's what they teach you in lifeguarding school too. Is if you're drowning, you're not gonna
give a fuck about number one in the most nicest way possible.
Sure, yeah.
Because everybody, your parents, your dad, your mom, everybody's gonna tell you what you should do. But when you figure out how you should do you could actually be something. You could be somebody.
I mean, I agree with you to a point, though. I think we might have some contention here.
I always like hearing other, because
I have a working theory, and I'm still like trying to work this theory out to see if it's true or not. But one is, you need to care what people think,
100%.
But not everyone, just the people that matter.
Like I said, sage advice is always welcome.
Yes. Like the whole, I don't care what anyone thinks is like,
no.
Well, then you're stupid because you should care, right? First of all, that's a lie, because you put on pants this morning when you went outside. You clearly care what people think about you.
Like,
right?
If you went outside and you fucking didn't have pants on, you probably give a fuck.
So you clearly care what people think, right? You did your hair, you brushed your teeth, you care. Like, let's first of all say, call that out. But
I think we're on the same page, yeah.
Yeah, but two, care what the right people think, right?
Most people forget about that not giving a fuck point of view and what that actually means. I
have never heard it like expressed in like a concrete.
A lot of younger kids grow up with a lot of hate and literally meaning that I don't give a fuck.
Just about anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dial it back a notch, and there's some power in that. So you should give a fuck about yourself. Don't be destructive. Self-destructive. Yeah. You should give a fuck about that. Because guess what? That person that you're angry at is not going to give a fuck if you destroy yourself. Right? Right?
Yeah. Well, anger is like taking being
a cyanide pill and thinking that it's going to kill the other person.
That's going to kill the other person. Yeah.
So, I mean, don't give a fuck about the people that spew the hate, whatever. Or even like your parents, like they do their best, they try, but they don't know you. They didn't grow up like you. They're not dealing with you're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Figure it out for yourself, but be nice to yourself. Like treat yourself like. I always tell people like, you're like a 3-year-old at a certain point, right? You see 3-year-olds, they're like sweet, they're kind, they're like, would you ever fucking treat a 3-year-old how you treat yourself right now? Hell no, dude. Like, you'd be put in jail. Because some people are so self-destructive and so mean to themselves that they forget that, like, that's them. They used to be a 3-year-old. Like, dude, be fucking nice to yourself. Don't give a fuck about the people that are mean to you. You're not going to destroy them by being meaner to yourself or like spewing that hate. That hate only grows inside of you and destroys you.
Okay, so, I mean, do you think it's antithetical to progress if you self-cuddle like that, though? Like, if you're like, hey, oh, no, you're such a good person.
So, Aaron, again, first podcast. Optimism, kindness, but with action, with progress. Being even keel. Like, be like the scales of judgment, right? They try to have it the most even. You don't want to go too far one way or the other. So if you're too nice to yourself, you're not progressing. If you're too mean to yourself, you're digressing.
Okay, so it's a balance, like everything in life.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but okay, say you're working out, right? And you don't want to work out, right? You're like 5 minutes in, you're like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm lazy. Do you just pat yourself on the back? No, you're okay. It's all right. Tomorrow. Or do you say, hey, you lazy piece of shit, get up and do some more push-ups?
I'll tell you a joke first, and then I'll tell you the real. All right. I'm the wrong person to ask about working out.
Okay, that's an example.
But I'll tell you this, right? So this is what Rogan kind of came to the conclusion of. Because he used to be like, so balls to the wall and fucking, like fucking push yourself. Don't be a lazy bitch, all this other stuff. Like fucking conquer your inner bitch. But there's the extreme, fucking David Goggins, right? Like he's destroying his body, but like he feeds that dog that tells him you gotta fucking push past because you're an inspiration to people. You gotta do this shit. Listen, thank God I'm too fucking lazy to give a fuck about that shit, right? Because I know health is good, but working out at a certain point, like working in a mine, there's a reason why you don't want to be working in a mine for the rest of your fucking life, right? So everything is a balance. And it's a different balance for me. And if you started fucking jump roping, I'd be done after 2 minutes. And you'd be like, what the fuck? I got another, 18 minutes to go. 20. I'm like, all right, do your 20 minutes. We're cool. Find out what that balance is for you. And always push yourself to be better. But don't be so down on yourself that you're not at a different person's level, because we're all in different paths.
Sure.
That's it.
Well, yeah, and then with working out, I believe your goal should never be even like aesthetics. It should always be health. You should always focus on.
Amen. Yeah.
My dad always said that give me my health and everything else we can purchase. Right? Because if you have your health, you can make enough money to buy whatever you want.
Let's cheers to that.
Yeah,
So, speaking back to that, my dad was, I don't know how many more years he has gifted on this earth, because unfortunately he grew up in Ukraine during Chernobyl. Kind of went away from where we lived, but there's still impact that happens, You never know. Genetically, he was gifted with amazing genetics, like especially considering like everything, like not the best, not exceptional, but like great. Health is super important. Physical and mental. People forget about the mental. I've noticed that in my immediate life, credit to my dad. He acknowledged that, like, or somewhat. He said, yeah, I might have done some things that I wish I didn't know how to do it at the time. Raising us and all this other stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
Credit to my dad. Like, and probably because of this podcast, I would have never had the opportunity to really sit down and talk with him. But like, even outside this podcast, I know eventually in my life I would have seeked out, like when I gained enough wisdom to be able to have that like back and forth, be like, hey, Dad, You've always told me this. This is what I learned. And because there's a lot of fathers that are also still confused. There's a lot of dumb 60-year-olds, you know. So they'll tell you, and they're just giving you their excuse for why they're fucked up. You have to remember that. Don't let another person's excuse make your reality. You know, like, so when a person is like, oh, we're just cursed. Or I saw demons when I was younger, and my dad saw demons. Well, I could have had all those excuses, right? If anybody could, I could have, right? You know me well enough, right? You know my story, everything like that. I always tell myself, fuck that. Because we're here for a short time. I'm here for a good time. Not a long time. Maybe, hopefully, if I'm here for a long, good time, fuck, that would be awesome. But I always tell myself, like, hey, I could die tomorrow. So let's fucking figure out today and move on good from today. And I don't give a fuck what everybody experienced before me or said. I'm going to figure out for myself because I'm not them. They're not me. Like I said, we're all different genetics. The person could be allergic to peanuts, like die from peanuts. I can't take the other person's word. I could take some wisdom from that, but I should make it my own. Nobody knows better than me how to do me.
No. Plus, you are responsible for you. You're going to live with whatever consequences you have from your actions. So, like, you got to take.
Yeah.
When people give you advice, like
in a positive sense too. Like, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, dude. I still fuck up. Not even that long ago. Like,
think that's a couple of weeks ago, progress, I fucked up. Man, that's always gonna happen.
I woke up. I was like,
Before I forget, there's this idea I wanted to bring up.
We got time, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, but back to what we were talking about earlier. There's this author, Ayn Rand. Have you heard of her?
Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand?
Yeah, some people
I can never pronounce it right.
Ayn Rand.
Yeah. Anyways,
okay.
She's what a
Russian.
Yeah, what a brilliant lady.
Jew.
Figures. No, she's smart. Like, Jews are smart.
I think Jew, but I don't know.
No, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So she came back to the U.S., wrote her books, whatever, and her pinnacle or her opus magnum was Atlas Shrugged.
Okay.
Right. And then she had her whole philosophy, like they call it objectivism, and there's even books on that. But one idea, I guess topic they cover is called and I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like anti-mentality, like along those lines. And the idea behind that is you feel a person who has anti-mentality is a person who's reached a point in their life where they feel that they've learned everything that there is to learn, and they're
yeah. Talk to me.
They're not gonna learn anymore because they've reached that point.
You're fucked.
Oh my gosh! When I read that quote, I'm like, holy shit! Like, I never want to get there.
Yeah.
Like,
we had this discussion with my dad. He's 85, and I was like, yo, Dad, when you're 120, and right before you die, I want to ask you, yesterday, was there something that you learned? Or are you smarter today? He's like, 100%. I want to be that way.
Oh, man.
I was like, amen to that.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
See, my dad's, love the guy, but he's not like that. Feels like
you could only hope. You can only hope, because I told you, like, I have a brother, like, his offspring, man. Like, I feel bad for him, but they're pretty smart. I think they're gonna be all right. With the fucked up situation that they were born into with my brother, they're doing honestly way better than I would have expected. So your dad is not the worst.
No, I know. No, I love the guy. The wisdoms he shared with me,
but like I said, you don't have to like share your wisdom and glean your wisdom from the people closest around to you, like people that are related to you. Doesn't mean that they have to be in your life. I had to cut out some people out of my life at a certain point in time, whatever, because I needed that space. Whatever, like, I literally cut out my dad at certain times because I was like, hey, listen, I think we're on different trajectories,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't understand where I'm coming from or whatever, like, and instead of getting mad or whatever, listen, we went through some tough times with my dad. Like, I don't even want to get into it, but only recently, I'm who's to say that, like, later on I wouldn't have to, like, take my own space and whatever, you know. Only recently I was able to, like, almost like zoom out and have that understanding to be able to have that conversation with him, and it helped him to understand me and himself better. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't ready to do that before. It was gonna fuck me up if I was gonna get too close to him. You know, like, you get too close to the sun, you get burnt. The sun nourishes, and it could fucking destroy. So you take what you have, not what you wish you had, and you do the best with what you got.
But along those lines, would you agree with this statement that you can still learn off of anyone? There's things that you can glean off of every single person
100%.
out there.
There's better books to read, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like for example, like, people hate on Hitler, right?
I actually really want to hear your insights, because I'm the same way, right?
Well, just like
Genghis Khan. I'll tell you, Genghis Khan.
Yeah,
it's another, like, the longer you stay away from, the longer of a period there is from history, the less you see it in the bad way, and the more you see it in a more objective way. Still, I'm not subscribing to
anti-Semitism.
Oh, yeah, obviously, but, like, I'm not subscribing to, like, the ends are, you know, like, the fucking what's that saying? Like,
ends justify the means, or what you talking about?
Yeah, sometimes no.
Well, no, I will definitely disagree with that.
He probably, if I could if I could defend Hitler being a Jew.
Ironic.
He grew up in a time where he didn't realize that he was actually a Jew also. He saw all these successful people, and he said to himself, might be fucked up. Just like how the Bolsheviks did. Like, during that time, there's, like, that sentiment going around. You know, like, all these people that are fucking successful right now, billionaires. And in the scheme of things, if you look adjusted for inflation, they're not even half as rich as some of the people in history. I don't know if you know that or not. But there's so much sentiment going around. Like, all these fucking rich people, what the fuck they did some shit, dude. They actually fucking made your life better, bro. I love being able to order some shit on Amazon and have that shit over at my house the following day or the same day, right? So don't hate on the success of a person just because you don't have success in your life.
No, I think even, like, that whole ideology.
That's where Hitler fucked up.
He hated on the rich people?
Jews. He saw all the successful people were Jews. He's like, fuck these Jews. They're the rats. They're eating all of our cheese.
Sure.
He didn't realize he was the same fucking rat and the same, trying to go for the same fucking cheese.
Did you just call the Jews rats? Surj.
I'm a Jew.
This is going to be on YouTube. The world's going to see
They've been called everything.
We love the Jews.
I love the human race.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It is a race. It's a human race. There is no such thing as different races. There's one.
There's not black. There's not white.
There's ethnicities, but there's no races. It's just one.
We're the human race.
We're the human race. Absolutely. That's what I never got about, like, true racism. Like,
yeah, it's dumb.
It's, think about it. You're cutting yourself off for an entire group of people strictly because of some immutable characteristic.
Let me cure you of any fucking white Semitism that you might have. anything that a white person has ever did and took credit for was taken from the black people. Rock and roll. Fucking anything that you look back
Is it
on.
really?
And they hate on the blacks. That's where they got all their fucking shit from. It's stupid. Like, you're the human race. You're not the superior race.
Yeah, no, I never.
If you think that, you're actually more dumb.
I mean, even growing up, the whole Russian-Ukrainian thing, like, I always thought that was silly. I mean, we had
hella dumb.
We had the jokes, whatever, but, like, they were always just jokes. Then I started kicking it with some people up north in Portland, and, like, I'm like, oh, wow, maybe you're not kidding.
Yeah. Maybe you are dumb.
Yeah, maybe.
But we are all dumb at certain points in our life.
Yeah. I mean, even like in high school, think about the things you said, the things you talked about. You're like looking back, you wouldn't say the same things. You're like,
no, hell no. And then, like, if somebody like even takes like this out of context, or like me fucking 10 years ago, they'd be like, oh, look, this fucking retard. I'd be like, yeah, I was stupid. Like, listen, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you for 3 hours and see what kind of stupid shit you say. No, so don't judge a person just because they're like at a different like trajectory in their life right now.
Absolutely not, man. Like I said, the things that I've done in my life that they just I surprised myself a few times. Like, so I don't really like judge anyone for what they do anymore. It's like I get it, man. Like, I'm not gonna justify anyone's like lifestyle or
like
whatever,
you said, balance. Like, be accountable to yourself still, but understand that some people are not at that enlightened stage just yet, or whatever.
No, I'm sure they have different fields that they're enlightened in more than I am, and I am more enlightened than them in certain things, and we can glean off each other. Like, it doesn't have to be a static, like, right? Like, there's things you can gain from every single person.
Yeah, like you said, from any person. And even if you don't, maybe you can steal some fucking light into that fucking dumbass.
Or they can even put some light into you. Like you can't.
I found that. Yeah, honestly,
you can't discount
I'm not
that.
even being facetious about it. Like, I'm genuine. I talked to some people that I'm like, oh, like this fucking dumbass. I'm like, all right, I'm just stuck here, whatever. And like they start talking. I'm like, sometimes it was like, oh, I found something. Sometimes there was like almost even more. I was like, holy shit, I'd never even thought about it that way. Yeah. So there's different levels of like what you...
Sure.
Unless you get to know a person, you really can't say, fuck that guy. Or, well, okay, so we were just talking before the podcast, like there's a lot of opinions about Joe Rogan or this or that person. And before even Joe Rogan, I knew this quote. And I'll explain it after I say it because it sounds almost like too bombastic. The lion does not give a fuck about the opinion of sheep. Right? So the people that matter will know. The people that don't matter don't know. Like, everybody has an opinion. You have an opinion of me. I have an opinion of you. Like, obviously, you know that. But until you actually sit down and try to give a fuck about me, I really don't give a fuck about what you think about me. Like, so you could sit over there yelling, like, Surj is this. I sleep well at night. Honestly.
Regardless.
Yeah. Honestly. I like, you ask my wife, like, fucking, or like, if I drink too much or whatever, I'll stay up all night, but then I'll sleep good. Like when it comes to like trying to get sleep when I need sleep, I'll make it happen. I don't worry about like what this person said or said about this or that. Like, I don't give a fuck, like in the most genuine, nicest sense, because I know the people around me that really matter, that I really value their opinion, that I really value their love. They'll come to me and they'll tell me, and I value their advice. And if they are seeing it maybe, or They usually come to me and they're like, Surj, I heard this, like, be careful or whatever. And if I see that they see it maybe from a different way, I'll talk to them. I'll be like, hey, I see it. Don't be scared. Like, this is what I meant. Or this is how I see it. And they're like, oh, that shit makes sense. I get it. You actually mean well. I value people that mean well. Now, if they come to me and they check me and they're like, yo, you weren't really meaning well. You were just being an asshole. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, I see that point. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not going to give a fuck about every person that's out there telling me what the fuck they think about me.
Yeah.
Because they don't know me well enough to have a problem with me.
No, a solid point. And the people who can enrich your lives, you know, like they're not going to approach it in the same manner either. You know,
they're not going to scream at me.
No. Because there are people who genuinely want to help you, genuinely want to improve your life, and those people, I mean, they sometimes need to say the hard thing. I get that. Like I've told people like straight up.
I don't mind that either.
Like even my patients sometimes, man, I straight up tell them like, hey, stop using methamphetamine. Like right, or like, hey, you need to stop drinking alcohol.
That will fuck you up in the long end.
Yeah, or like, right, hey, check your damn blood sugar. Like I've said that to patients before. Like, hey guys, like wake up. You know, like you gotta take charge of your own health. And like, I mean, I don't know. I can't say I genuinely care about them. I don't really know them outside the 12 hours that I see them, right? But yeah, your close friends, you know, if they genuinely care about you, I think they will approach it with the hard, like, was it tough love, right? Like where it's
tough love, but like, yeah, with kindness at the same time. Yeah. Like a spoonful of medicine always goes down easier with sugar.
Sure, and think about the things that you've actually like taken like to yourself and like applied to your life. Was it someone screaming at you, "Hey, you're a dumbass. You need to stop doing this"?
No. It just shuts off.
Exactly. You're like, no, screw you, bro. Like, why would I listen to you? No, I agree, man. There's some gentleness to it. It's easier said than done, though. Like anytime I've been gentle to a friend about something. Even like people close to me, a lot of times it has bit me in the ass. Like it comes back on me, and like they yell at me at first. They're really apprehensive, and it's just really unpleasant after. And it kind of like it's almost like an aversion to doing it again, and I hate that.
But the right people that know that matter, they'll come back and they're like, "That actually was meant with love." And because you meant it with love, because I know you're a fucking nice guy. So like eventually, some people but like you said, you weed out those fucking bullshit friends with that. Because when you come to a friend with love and you tell them like, yo, listen, and they still hate you, either you guys are on different channels. That could be possible too. Like I thought, like I meant well, whatever. We're just like we understand the world from a different perspective, or that person's just fucked up and they want to be fucked up right now. They're not ready.
Not the right time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if the times I had so many friends years later, I'm not even kidding. Like decades later, even sometimes.
What?
Surj.
You were right.
I'm sorry. I'm like, hey, listen, I don't. You know, like, and I don't go like, yeah, fuck you, yeah, I told you. I was like,
what's up, booyah?
I was like, no, like, dude, listen, I almost come at even more of a apologetic tone because, like, I've been there, dude. I fucked up even more than that person did. So, like, for them to have the courage, like, literally the fucking courage and the balls to say I was wrong. Mm-hmm. I respect that more than anything. Like I don't. That doesn't. I don't give a fuck. That doesn't reflect anything on me because I know that's more on them because like that takes. Because when I had to do that, I knew that took every fucking ounce of strength in me to be like, yo, I fucked up. And then when I came to that person and I said I fucked up, there's only one unfortunate situation where that happened.
What?
Let me tell you.
Can you share it live?
Yeah, I'll share it
on the
live,
YouTube?
and I don't care because this is the brother that's dying from cancer right now.
We need to take a shot. before
Yeah,
this,
let's do it. We need to.
Okay.
Before I get into too deep.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had this situation with him, and I was at a like a fork in the road, like a head point where he literally brought out the worst in me. That's when I realized like you just have to stay away from certain people because they will bring out the worst in you, right? And I was literally ready to do some fucked up shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like as mean as it sounds, it's like crazy as it sounds, but like certain people will drive you to that point in your life. So that's why I say like stay away from fucking crazy people, because in Russian there's a saying, "Чего." Fuck, my dad said it better. С кем поведешься, того наберешься.
Sure. Okay.
Like who you tie yourself with, you're gonna get more of that.
Of course.
There's disturbed people, right? He was just disturbed until this day. He's like 50, pushing like till his end days. Like he's got cancer, like everything like that, and like because of all, I don't know why people get cancer for different reasons, but sometimes you kind of cause it for yourself. Like you're just always like hateful, whatever. Like you can't say one or the other. But like anyway, long story short, he's passing away from cancer. Until this day, he's got so much fucking vile and hatred inside of him. And when I was growing up, he even like he broke my dad's teeth because he always thinks that like everybody's sleeping with his wife. Like he's mentally disturbed, right? Like not to get too deep, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like I'll talk about myself. You talk about yourself as much as you want, but I think where I grew up, there's a lot of wisdom to glean from that, and I don't mind being open and honest because I'm a big boy. I could defend myself. Like, and I'd rather be open and honest. And like I said, the people that matter will know. The people that don't matter don't know. I don't give a fuck. And so the bigger point that I was trying to make is I started on
Well, you're talking about your brother,
mm-hmm.
how he has cancer, extremely vile.
Staying away from those people. Like certain people are a good influence, certain people are not. It doesn't matter what you're born into or not. Like you're not obligated to keep relations just because you're blood related. You know, like the closest people around you doesn't have to be the people physically closest around you. You know, like we live in amazing times. Like literally, I would not want to be alive like in 1800s.
Well, yeah, I mean, technology, I get that, right? But the point I made earlier was just a moral perspective. I think we've declined, but honestly,
how?
Let me speak to the technology side first, though.
Okay.
Like, as a diabetic, I would not be alive in the 1800s. Like, by no means.
So all of this that you know, because like you're actually a very happy person. You're smiling right now, but you have a pessimistic view. This is why we're friends.
No, I mean,
because like everybody that I've seen in my life that has your views literally lost their shit.
You call it pessimism, I call it realism.
Hey,
you know, I accept
the best person that I've ever met was on our 3-year anniversary in Napa. Irish guy. Okay. Now, this is what I say. You can only be grumpy if you're genuinely fucking happy. Irish people are grumpy as fuck, but they're secretly happy.
Yeah, I can see that.
I had the best conversation with him. He hates technology. He hates where the world is at, everything like that. But when I talked to him, I fucking laughed the whole time. You're one of those people that I really cherish and love. because
Appreciate you saying that.
you're different, but in the best sense possible. And when I try to go towards different but good, I always see it's always awesome.
Yeah, I mean, my whole theory in like life in general was if you're gonna be like everyone else, you're gonna be just as miserable as everyone else. You know, like
Yeah.
if you do what everyone else does, you're gonna be in the same boat. Like, and apply that same idea to everything. Apply it to your career in college, right?
Okay.
If you go through the same college experience as everyone, you're gonna just wind up with $100,000 in debt and like no good career. Like majority of college students do that.
Yeah,
right. Or apply that to your relationships. You know, if you do what everyone else does, then because most people are miserable. Like I think most people are not happy, Surj. I really do think that.
Yeah.
That's why I've
amen.
like everyone's going down this way, and I've always gone that way. And I don't know if it's a personality thing. I don't know exactly if it's a wisdom thing.
How the fuck are you so pessimistic, but yet so
It's okay.
happy?
You use the word pessimism. I use the word
Realism. That's bullshit.
realism. Cautious optimism.
I like
Cautious not optimism,
that.
because
I like
optimism
that.
in
No,
its pure
cautious.
sense,
No, that's actually, I love it.
right? Because it's in its purest sense, optimism leads it's disillusionment, right? You don't see the object. There we go. That's what I was trying to come to. Objectivism. Ayn Rand again.
Oh,
Her philosophy is objectivism.
Okay.
Right?
talk to me. Explain to people. And actually, I'm not too familiar with Ayn Rand, so talk to me.
Very simple, right? Objectivism as opposed to like subjectivism. Subjectivism is how you feel about something. Objectivism is accepting the reality around you for
No matter what the fuck your viewpoint is.
yeah, outside of your viewpoint, right?
Yeah.
So the
It might
objective
be
truth,
way opposite of what the fuck you believe in.
it might be, and that's actually really hard to accept
Yeah.
because it's your viewpoint and you're biased towards you, right? So, and that's the universal truth. I don't think.
Explain that to a lot of people we know.
Good luck. No, it's because you're biased in your favor in every regard, even if you're conscious of it or not, right?
Yes.
100%.
Every day I fucking learn that lesson.
Yeah, and even if you know it to be true, you still are biased in your favor. Like there's things about yourself that you're almost like blind to. Like and
Yeah.
like logically it doesn't make sense why.
That's what I said. I really appreciate sage advice from wise people that can give it to me honest, without being too nice, without being too harsh.
Just objectively. you
Yeah.
could say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it might hurt me.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's not a bad thing. Like pain,
Yeah.
like I said, pain's not a bad
The
thing.
best lessons I've ever learned
Or painful.
was through pain.
Yeah.
Through failures. I don't
Sure,
fucking learn
yeah.
shit from being successful.
I did hear that quote recently too. It's you either made money or you learned
How to make it.
so along those lines,
Yeah.
basically, right?
Or
So when you
how to lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you learn how to lose it, you'll learn how to fucking keep it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's a good lesson. You either learn a lesson or you make money. Like
Yeah.
one of the two.
Why do millionaires always lose all their money?
Well, I
They
think
never
have
have
to.
the
Yeah.
lessons to learn how to keep it.
Then you have that pain. But yeah, so back to Ayn Rand, objectivism, right? So just seeing reality for what
Zoom
it is.
out. I think her fucking point was zoom out.
Well, that helps too, right?
Because you're so focused on your own point and like how you see the world, or like always you're stuck in this. I believe this, whatever. Or like they say this, I'm like, fuck yeah,
Sure,
dude.
yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of that way. It's like, oh, but is that the only viewpoint? Because that's where a lot of people got lost in the Bolshevik era. They meant well. So did Hitler.
Well, I mean,
You don't know that.
when it comes to
Hitler
politics,
actually meant well. Do you know that?
I mean, everybody means well. You know, like I mean,
Exactly.
not in the truest sense,
A
but
lot of bad, fucked up shit has been done in the name of good.
yeah, like taking away your liberties is always done for your safety, right? Benjamin Franklin said, "Those who sacrifice a little bit of their liberty, for a little security, will
Deserve neither.
and will lose both.
Yeah.
And I believe it holds true. And that's why I feel, Surj. That's why I feel the world's
This
going
is the
to...
only fucking country that they actually know this.
No, they don't, Surj. We've been losing. Every generation loses the sense of that. Every single one. Every passive next generation.
Maybe. But America's been holding strong for longer
It
than
has.
most.
100% it has. But it's still... that's why I believe it's declining. We were talking about earlier. You think things are getting better.
No,
that's why I think things are declining.
No. Civilization has ever stayed till the end of time. America eventually.
Yeah.
This is the most amazing experiment ever in our history. In the history of time
the world,
itself.
yes.
Yeah. Don't fucking be pessimistic about it. It will end, but appreciate and enjoy the fact that you're living in this time.
Yes. Like I said, you don't need to be pessimistic about it. You don't need to be depressed about it. You don't need it to ruin your life or even ruin your mood for that fact. You accept it for the reality it is, the objective reality it is, and then you plan your life accordingly. Like, there's emotions don't need to be involved in this.
See the trials and tribulations and the pitfalls, but don't let that define your life and fucking stop your life from living.
Who's got time for that, man?
Everybody.
What do you mean everybody? I don't know. I don't got time for that. I want to ride this rocket. I want to ride it well, full power, and I don't want to be depressed or sad or like I don't got time for that, Surj. I mean, there's a time and a place for it.
You are actually literally that's what I was telling you. Like the most fucking weirdest fucking person in the most sense possible that I've ever met.
Well, okay with that. I'll take that any day over being normal or
no. Do you understand? Because like we come like very different perspectives in life. Like if I were ever to like even for a second consider that perspective, I'd probably lose my shit.
What? Just being okay with whatever happens? Or?
No. Like looking at the world like pessimistically or down, or like I'm able to now, but when I was growing up, that would be the enemy.
It would have wrecked you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see why most people it would. You know, like you have to have a longer time horizon, I guess. I mean, I'm not trying to bring it back to religion, but like I really feel after I die here, there's only paradise left. So
maybe.
So okay, whatever. But Surj, how about this? Say that's true, right? Like I'm right on this fact.
Yeah, I'm willing to explore every idea.
So how about this then? Whatever I do in this life, no matter how bad I mess it up, say financially I go broke and I'm crazy in debt, I have to live on the streets.
And then hopefully when your eyes close for the last time, you will be smart enough to move beyond that. And when you're in heaven, like, because you believe that there's like afterlife. I don't know, like myself, like if I'm genuine, I don't know. I'm okay with that. I'm not scared about that.
Well, my point is different though. Like, okay. Say in this life, right? Like I mess up completely. I mess up financially. I mess up my health. I go complete shit, right? Paralyzed, cancer, fibromyalgia, pain every day. Just like the worst health, right? And I mess up with, say I have kids, right? Like they come out, be complete drug addicts, murderers, criminals, whatever.
Hold on. Can you hold that thought? Because I think I'm the first one that has to take a fucking leak. I apologize.
It's ridiculous, sir.
Let's go podcast. Before
you want to hold hands doing it.
Don't worry, I forgot. Or I didn't forget the point that you were making. So before we start back up, let's cheers to this moment.
Cheers to this moment.
I appreciate great conversation with. Don't take it too much to your ego. or with great people.
I don't know. Too late.
I don't mind because you don't take it to your ego too much. So, the point that you were making, if you completely fuck up in this life and make all the wrong decisions, I really like exploring these ideas. I don't like, I'm scared of that. Like, and I've been making all the right decisions, but who knows? I don't know where my life is going to go. I could fuck up royally at some point, right? I've also heard like a mistake is not a failure unless you don't learn from it. Also, they're bullshit. But let's not name names, and like that doesn't mean that they're going to be towards the end of their life. But we know some people that we think like maybe made some wrong decisions, right? So what you're making the point of is, what if in this lifetime, ultimately at the end, you realize you made all the fucked up wrong decision? Okay, go on that point.
So yeah, along those lines is that if I mess up, so that's what that's the biggest. I guess I'm gonna use the word earthly advantage you have with Christianity, like the biggest benefits. I mean, the Bible teaches you your biggest benefit in your salvation is life after death, right? Because Bible
yes
teaches
or
that
no,
there's
maybe.
Well, that's what the Bible teaches, right?
Yeah.
I'm just strictly going off what the Bible teaches.
Yeah.
The biggest earthly benefit is the peace in knowing that. So, like, say you mess up in every single sense, in every, like, the book of Job talks about how Job had the worst diseases, all his kids died, his wife told him to curse God and die, and all these, like, it was just like the worst case scenario, right?
But people make their own hell on earth, though.
I mean, to an extent, but my point is different. Is that right? He had it real bad, but he knew that after he died, it'd be okay. And Christianity allows for that, and that's the biggest earthly benefit you get is that peace, knowing that
you would hope, and this is what I would hope for my brother, is that like hope, like, and this is what happens actually. A lot of people, when they get close to those dying palpitations of their heart, your body naturally releases psychedelic.
Sure, there's a chemical.
So you come to a understanding. I fucked up in this life. Hopefully, there's something after this, and whatever. Like, you don't want to take it that way. You want to take it more like a religious way, right?
I mean, religious in the sense like what, like a biblical way, or
yeah, because I had this discussion with my dad. If you were born in Iran or Afghanistan, you'd be talking differently right now. So every religion has its own king. For Islam, it's Allah, and then Jesus is the enemy, and then in the Judeo-Christian like religion, it's Jesus, and Allah is the enemy, and like he doesn't know what he's talking about, everything like that. Everybody has their own king, but they all praise one God.
I mean,
and then hold on.
Let
me continue. I'm even more zoomed out of that. I literally would not give a fuck after all of this. I died, and this was it. I'm fucking happy. Like, genuinely. Like, I learned so many lessons. I've had so many amazing experiences. Like, I made a beautiful life with what I had so far. And I know, like, if I'm granted even a couple of years more, or even like another lifetime, another 37 years, I'd be even more happy. So, yeah. Make the best of what the fuck you have, because you don't know. No, tomorrow's not promised.
I mean, I guess two things along those lines, Surj, is that like you're assuming that once you die, that's it, Right.
Yes or no? Maybe. I actually don't know.
No, but
there might be.
But you're assuming it's not any
special.
worse than it is today. Than
It's
it is right now.
special to think that we're special enough to have an afterlife.
Well, I mean, sure, yeah, I can agree with that. But my point is, you're assuming that like what the Bible calls hell isn't any worse than what we have.
Have you ever
here on
heard
Earth.
of Tupac's song called "Thug's Mansion"?
I'm sure I have.
So, at the risk of not being deleted from YouTube or whatever, like whoever is listening,
COVID is a lie.
Listen to it, because what it says is like, right, for me, right, I grew up in the Judeo-Christian, Russian, whatever, right?
Sure, yeah.
And you got to be proper, you got to be this, whatever. But I've met a lot of other people outside of that goody two-shoe that I'm like, that is a motherfucker that I would love to continue for the rest of my life talking to. And the song literally talks about, this is the concept. There might be life after this. But you're dumb if you say yes or no. Both ways. If you say yes, you're saying you fucking know the answers. If you say no, you're also stupid. Right? Atheism is its own religion.
Isn't that funny?
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, I hope when I close my eyes for the last time, God is somewhat like me. If not, if there's another place for me, so Jews and black people are actually more similar than you might think. they were all enslaved.
Oh wow, good point.
But through the suffering, through the misery, there's wisdom gleamed through that. There's happiness, like unforgivable, unretractable happiness that if you could gain happiness through suffering, fucking nobody will ever take that shit away from you. Right? And whether that's in the moment or passed down generationally. Because for me, I've realized what I realized or made real for myself is like, till the day I fucking die, I'd probably be fucking happy. Because it's generational. Because I realized through the suffering, if you could find the happiness, there's no fucking way anybody could take that away from you. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I'm trying to, but I mean, in and of itself, though, suffering. I mean, how does that produce any happiness?
Oh, okay. So when I have a perfect life, like I have the perfect kids, everything like that, yeah.
You make an effort to make yourself better, because if you're feeling great, there's no incentive or motivation to better yourself and find a better life or find better opportunities, because everything's great. So like, why would you even try? But if you're suffering, then I saw your point like right away.
Yeah.
I guess we do see eye to eye on a lot of things. Huh?
Like I said, you're special.
Yeah.
It's just that.
Orange juice. Yeah, but I don't want to lose this idea of objectivism again, though.
Talk to me.
Seeing the objective reality for what it is. You mentioned, and now actually, I kind of was cycling through different topics to talk to you about during this podcast. I had no idea what this would be like, right? But how about this idea though? Like my Christianity, like I don't want to say it's different from.
It is different.
Mainstream.
In the best sense possible.
And I hope so. I hope you're right. But like the Christianity
always check yourself though.
Like me and you grew up on, I do not conform or believe in that kind of Christianity.
That's fine. That's why I wanted to play this video for you. And I don't think we'll get banned for this. So whoever wants to listen to Thug's Mansion by Tupac, it's the opposite. But let me play it. Let me find it.
Yeah,
Because I think you understand it in the same way. And I'm not going to say either way whether I understand it this way or not. But when I heard it the first time, it resonated.
and that's the funniest thing I've learned in
And
this
listen,
life.
even though I only recently found out that I'm Jewish, I don't give a fuck. Like, Jesus is not my savior. Okay, like,
I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah. He's a very wise person.
Jesus was
100%.
sure.
Very
Okay.
like the wisest.
I mean, if he was God himself, it makes sense. Yeah.
That's what the Bible put it down as.
Again, like you've heard what I like things I preface.
I'm just
I
trying
say
to
the
make
same
sure
thing,
that I'm
right?
not egotistic, but like because this video starts with like the King of the Jews. I don't give a fuck about Jews, even though I'm a Jew, right? So listen to this, and when I heard this the first time, I was like, all right, if this is the God, then I would fucking love to meet him when I die. But when I die, if literally that is the end, and there's no more me, I'm still okay with it. Like I don't think you understand that.
No, but I don't think you get what you're saying, though. Again, like you're assuming.
You think you're so special that like after you die, you're gonna be alive?
Do I think I'm special? Surj, you know my life, man. Like I
No, I
don't-
know you're smart.
No, but I don't deserve like half. Oh man, if I were to begin to describe to you like my last few years, what I've just like.
No, I know.
God.
Let's go after this.
Yeah.
Bible says, "My king is the king of the Jews. He's the king of Israel. He's the king of righteousness. He's the king of the ages. He's the king of heaven. He's the king of glory. He's the king of kings, and he's the Lord
This
of
is Tupac?
lords. That's my king.
Priest.
I wonder, do you know him?
Okay.
Black priest.
My king is a sovereign king. No means of measure can define his limitless love. He's enduringly strong. He's entirely sincere. He's eternally steadfast. He's immortally graceful. He's
Listen to the
imperially
words.
powerful. He's impartially merciful. Do you know him? He's the greatest phenomenon that has ever crossed the horizon of this world. He's God's son. He's a sinner's savior. He's the centerpiece of civilization. He's unparalleled. He's unprecedented. He is the loftiest idea in literature. He's the highest personality in philosophy. He's the fundamental doctrine of true theology. He's the only one qualified to be an all-sufficient savior. I wonder if you know him today. He supplies strength for the weak. He's available for the tempted and the tried. He sympathizes and he saves. He strengthens and sustains. He guards and he guides. He heals the sick. He cleanses the lepers. He forgives sinners. He discharges debtors. He delivers the captive. He defends the feeble. He blesses the young. He serves the unfortunate. He regards the aged. He rewards the diligent. And he purifies the meek. I wonder if you know him. He's a
I wonder if you know him.
He's a wellspring of wisdom. He's a doorway of deliverance. He's a pathway of peace. He's a roadway.
I get the idea.
He's a highway.
Is there more to this?
Yeah.
Of glory. Do you know him? Well, his life is matchless. His goodness is limitless. His mercy is everlasting. His love never changes. His word is enough. His grace is sufficient. His reign is righteous. And his yoke is easy.
Yoke is easy. I wish I could describe it.
Can we turn this off? Surj, this is garbage.
Really?
Surj, it's so my issue with all that, what you just played, it's so emotional, right? It feeds on your emotions, not your logic. feeds on your emotions. Like, oh, he's indescribable, even though shit, he just described him for
This is
the
why I
last
like
10
talking
minutes.
to you.
No, like, Surj, I'm not saying I'm like super spiritual or like, you know, I've gotten figured out.
Thoughtful.
I mean, I try to be. But no, like,
Hold on. If anybody wants to look this up, it's called That's My King, Dr. S. M. Lockridge Official. That's the video. And it was probably like when what was that movie about Jesus that came out with
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
It was back in like
What was it called?
Like high school days, man. Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ.
It
looks like there's passages and screenshots of Passion of the Christ. Let me tell you why it resonated with me, and then you tell me, because I'm actually very curious, because that's why I like talking to you.
Okay.
We're very different.
Very.
But we're very similar.
It sounds so stupid, but it's so true.
I know. This is why I appreciate and value the most is those kind of connections where I hope that I eventually get this one person on that was there. If I was stupid, I would think like was killing my country folk, Russians, Afghanistan person, right? You know, the first Afghanistani war was between Russians and Afghanistans. Not even between Americans and Afghanistans. In the 90s, it was between Russians and Afghanistans. The literal 5-minute interaction that I had with him, I realized this is a fucking Arthur. Yeah. Funny enough.
In a good way or a bad way?
The fucking best way.
Okay.
He didn't know if he was going to survive after he died. He was probably going to die. He was talking to me. He was like, when he heard my name, he was like, Russian? I was like, yeah. I was like, hey. He was trying to kill my people before, right? But he went beyond that. And he was able to understand that it's not about him or her or those people who were the other people. He was loved and revered in Russia, even though he was Afghanistan. Imagine that. Like you're Afghani and you're in Russia, where Russia fought against Afghanistan, and you're loved, and he had an affectionate name in Russian, Norik. His real name is like more legit, but like that's an affectionate way of calling a person in Russian. So when I talked to him, I was like, listen, like I would love to, because I love seeing people from a different perspective. Because I'm not right. I'm not wrong. But so is everybody else. But the only way we come to a understanding of the human race is to trying to understand the other person. Because the person that tells you you should kill the other person because they're not like you is the person that you should be fucking wary of, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Or a person that tells you, I got all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does. Because you're not me, I'm not you.
No, I
so
agree
fuck
with
you
Surj,
if you tell me
yeah.
you have all the answers.
No, I absolutely agree with you, yeah. I mean, but
So
are convictions,
how do you say
you
that
gotta stand
video
on.
is fucked up?
That one, I mean, I'm not saying what he's wrong. I'm not saying he's wrong in what he says, but like you've been to a certain church in Granite Bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we had this discussion before.
I'm sure.
This is actually the first time that I've heard.
I'm
this
usually
video.
very vocal about it. I guess just
Bayside.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
It's
Bayside.
literally my savior. Even though I'm not religious, but if I could recommend to anybody,
Bayside derives its. I guess I'm gonna say it's business because that's what it is.
theology, business.
Let's say business.
Yeah.
It's not theology. It's
how was Jesus so successful? No, tell me.
How's Bayside so successful?
How was Jesus so successful? Jesus would not exist in the Bible if he was not successful in what he does.
Like successful in which sense? Like successful in making it into the Bible? Is that in that sense, or
realizing that it's not about the I don't know how it's described in the Bible, but like it's not about the drunkard, it's not about the whore. It's about giving a fuck about you.
I mean, there's more to Jesus' message than that. Right? There's a bigger picture.
So is anybody excluded?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Who? Well, let's talk about. Okay, we'll circle back to this. Okay.
Yeah.
Bayside. Okay, so what my biggest issue was with that video is the same reason I have a big issue with Bayside now. It plays off of your emotions more than the actual Christian message.
Theology.
No, the actual Christian message is theology.
Yeah, you zoom in too much, you lose the message.
No, but here in Russian. In Bayside,
I wonder if you know him.
It feeds off your emotions, like it's a sensual experience versus a logical one. Christianity is all about your mind.
Logical sometimes can
Yes.
get you confused.
No, because logic is fairly straightforward. 1 + 2
That's not
=
math.
3. But logic is that consistent though. Logic and
statistics is almost the same thing.
Statistics is
skewed.
different though. No,
They can be
statistics.
skewed.
Logic is fairly straightforward.
What's logical to me might not be logical to
I
you.
drop this bottle, it hits the table. Like A + B = C. That's logic, essentially, in a nutshell.
Either I could be very upset at that, or I could not give a fuck.
My point is, different point, Surj. Christianity is more about your logic than it is about your emotions. And places like...
You think so? What about if you grew up in a different
Why okay,
geography?
you keep talking about where places you grew up in. Like, let's circle back even more. Let's go back to objectivism. This is why I like objectivism so much.
Yeah.
It is so lost.
Makes
on
you
our,
zoom out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's so lost in our postmodern culture, and we do live in a postmodern culture. And by postmodernism teaches that the reality you experience is your reality outside of what reality really is.
Yes.
Like, whatever my experience is, that is my reality to me. Whatever you experience, that is your reality to you.
Yeah.
Despite whatever reality in and of itself might be. Objectivism
Now,
teaches...
knowing that, do you know that you can't judge Bayside?
Okay. Well, so first of all, I don't agree with this, so
Yeah.
clearly
let
a
me explain.
contention.
Yeah.
No, but so objectivists...
So you're the only person that I've literally fucking met in my life that could be so pessimistic but so happy.
I've explained this to you, Surj. It doesn't make sense to be unhappy and depressed. It doesn't make sense. You got one life. It's a rocket ship, right? It's literally a rocket ship. You blink, and you're 50.
Listen,
Surj.
Arthur, do you understand that you're a very unique fucking bird in this fucking life?
I don't know, Surj. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not.
The only reason why I talk to people on this podcast is if I actually give a fuck about you.
Surj, I can't be the only one that thinks this way.
You're not, and I'll I'll give you some like ego medicine to that.
Please.
But you're rare.
I need plenty of ego medicine.
But you're rare. And I'll tell you how rare. Most people, when they look at life that pessimistically, they'll either lose their shit or they'll lose their way. Or they'll get so confused thinking that they got the right way, they'll lead other people astray.
See, the only issue I have with that is that if I am...
You are just so happy that you're able to be so pessimistic. Bayside, what it offers, it's almost so foreign to you. You're literally like
No,
stressing out. Like,
no,
literally. No, hold on. Let me continue with that.
Please.
It's so foreign to you because that's why I love talking to you, because you're so different to me. When you talk to a person that's more like me, and I wish more of my brothers went that way, that they seeked out the positive instead of the negative, and the good versus the bad, the light versus the dark. You're the only person, literally in my life, probably the most extreme example of that is able to function on those extremes. That's why you were one of my closest friends. Because you're so rare.
So, I mean, like I said, like I was trying to say, the only issue I have with that, Surj, is like I could be wrong. And
that's exactly why I respect you for that. Literally,
No, but
the reason why you said that is exactly why I respect you.
No, I've been wrong on a lot of things in my life.
So you want to ask me how many fucking things I've been wrong on?
No, and I get it. It takes a lot of I want to use the word wisdom to admit that you're wrong and that you're probably
fucking up.
That you're probably going to be wrong in the future too.
You just fuck up enough to know that you're not that fucking smart.
Yeah. So even based on what you're telling me is I being unique. I really hope I'm not the smartest guy in the world though. I think
nobody is. Even Einstein said he's fucking dumb.
Yeah, but you get my. Am I getting my point across?
100%.
Is that if I think I'm unique and I am the one that thinks this way, am I really the right one when everyone else is thinking this way? Because if I'm against the...
I hope I'm not getting too ahead of the point, but I've been actually talking with my wife lately.
About what?
Uniqueness, giftedness, genius.
Okay.
Right? Me and you, we've met a lot of people that think they're fucking amazing, right?
Everybody thinks they're amazing, Surj.
To a certain point. Smart people know that they're fucking dumb.
Isn't that weird, though?
Okay, so this I'll see if I'll try to go back to the fucking the funniest fucking shit that I've ever heard is I love quoting myself because
I wonder why.
But okay, I don't mean that in
I get
in
it.
the realistic sense, but
Sure.
I've had these thoughts, right? About genius and everything because I've been listening to Orson Welles from a young age. He's back in the 40s or whatever. From a young age, he's been told that he's a genius and everything. He rebelled against that because he was smart enough to know that he's fucking stupid.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? So this is my quote. Genius is a funny word. The more you believe it, the more it'll show you just how much you're not. Genius. Okay? Now, take it further. Make it personal. I'm not genius. I'm only gifted in some areas. But being proud of a gift, if as if you had anything to do with it is the saddest thing to see in the world. So I'm super fucking dumb in a lot of ways. I might be super gifted in other things. But to take credit for my gifts is literally the saddest thing to see in this world. Like when somebody gives you a gift and you're like making it like you fucking had anything to do with it.
No. Okay. Yes.
You're fucking retarded.
100.
But you're thinking
there.
you're a genius.
So I guess like along those same lines, growing up, I always excelled in school, like well beyond all my peers, right? And my parents, or I guess my mom and my sisters, always like, "Oh, Arthur, you're so smart, right?" And I rode that wave through high school, right? I was a genius, right? It got to me. I believed it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm a super smart, right? I'm the smartest guy there is. You know, I'm a genius, right?"
Mm-hmm.
That was my downfall, is thinking that.
Everybody's downfall is thinking that they're great.
Yeah.
Life will show you that you're not that fucking great.
And not to bring like zodiac astrology into anything, because that's a load of horse shit. But if there's any merit to it, the Aquarius, what I am, and someone that I work with told me this recently. Aquarius is
I used to not give a fuck about it at all. There's something
just like
weird.
religion,
everything. There's something
weird about
to
it,
glean
man.
from it, but don't believe in it too much.
No, absolutely not. But there's
okay. Talk to me. So okay, Aquarius, whatever.
I mean, so
what's your zodiac sign?
Aquarius, right? Apparently, Aquariuses are
all around.
No, apparently we rebel against authority, right? For one, and like, I'm not gonna lie, man.
Wasn't Tupac Aquarius?
What? Why are you so fascinated with Tupac? I had no idea, man.
I'll tell you.
I got a story about Tupac too, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead, and we'll talk.
My story?
No. So continue about like Aquarius and your thing, and we'll go.
So Aquarius, right? Rebel against authority, eccentric. That's a big one with Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
And someone told me that recently. I'm like, I mean, this is all true, but I don't want my birthday to determine who I am. Like,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What the hell? Like my date of birth? Like what the? Besides the point. We're talking about genius.
It's almost like you're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you don't. Whatever you believe the most.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking about genius. By no means am I a genius. And my family let me think that I was, just because I got straight A's throughout high school. But high school was a freaking joke.
But then life showed you that you're a fuck up also.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. College was easy too, but and this is another pivotal moment in my life. Big leap of faith. After getting my college education, my bachelor's degree, that was a thing to do in a day.
Mm-hmm.
I drove a truck. I got my CDL. I drove a truck.
Yeah, trust me, for me too. It was like the biggest fucking downfall.
Right?
I was like, yo.
I don't know about you though, but for me, it was the best thing I could have done in my life.
Yeah, you had that time to like really sit there and analyze.
I
and
got
think about yourself.
So much shit from my family, from my friends. Like, Arthur, you're so smart. Why are you driving a truck? And
I was the first fucking dumbass to go down that route, and I was like,
man.
"Yo, should I just end my life because I'm a fucking fuck up?"
Isn't that right? But it was, for me personally, it was the best thing I could have done. It absolutely was.
That
Surj.
depression sometimes could lead you to fucking intelligence.
I would not take that back in a heartbeat. I would have done that from when I was 18. Like,
just be nice to yourself in those dark moments.
I spent a lot of time listening to smarter people than me.
100%. That was the only time that you would have had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And back then there was no like YouTube, right? I mean, there was the YouTube, but it wasn't like
sort of. It wasn't as big as it was.
Yeah. It was just audiobooks. Audiobook by Robert Kiyosaki. God, I love that guy, man.
Yeah, he has a lot of like very where he the best thing that he's like genius. Rich dad, poor dad.
Yes.
Literally, he didn't have two dads, but he made you look how if he had a poor dad, he would talk to you in this way, and if he had a rich dad, he would literally talk to you in exactly the opposite. But you could relate to both of those.
Yes.
That was the first fucking time that you've ever heard that from anybody. If you started working in your fucking genius career, you'd be a dumbass right now.
I owe the guy so much. I just want to send him a paycheck just for how genius he is, man. No, and then knowing what I know now, would I have gone down the career field that I've gone down? No. God, absolutely not.
Thank God, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God. But again, we were talking about earlier about eccentricism and your mainstream line of thinking.
Eccentricism?
Like being eccentric.
I don't even know that word.
Eccentric?
Let me make that fucking shit up.
So being eccentric is so it derives from like a circle and like going outside of the circle. That's like a lot of Latin terms like that derive from that, right? Like
oh shit, I found it. Of a person or their behavior, unconventional and slightly strange.
But like the Latin terms for it's like centrism.
Not placed centrally or not having its axis or other part placed centrally, or a circle not centered on the same point as another.
So you get the idea, right? Like a circle.
100%.
Like see the circle as your mainstream idea, right? So eccentricism.
That's what I told him about my dad. I actually told him that. Like,
told him what? Dad, be outside the circle.
I hated him for a long time, but then we all go through that. Like you don't know every son. And listen, when I have my son, I have to get prepared for that because my son is gonna fucking hate my guts.
100%, man.
If I guide that ship correctly, I'll be able to weather the storm with him. Without getting upset about his journey. But how I came to that realization that I would do it that way with my son was seeing how I was with my dad. And I went through my periods of hating him, not understanding him, everything like that. I still like realize that like we're here put on this fucking earth to be better. I'm going to be better than my dad. I know that. But if I can help at all to make my dad better at the same time that we're here on this earth, I fucking love that. I wasn't always capable or ready. That's why I had to step back. Like literally it was good for me because I would fucking kill myself like trying to prove to my dad that like, yo, this is the way, whatever. I didn't have the wisdom to be able to like communicate to him, this is the way. I don't know if you understand that yet, but I came to that realization just recently. It was good for me to step back at certain points in my life in order to be able to step in a more powerful way. If you just try to be there for that person that is there for you, whatever, at all times, and fucking, I'm 100% there, blah, 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 you're doing yourself an injustice, and that person a fucking misservice. Because you mean the best, but you might not have the skills to be able to serve them best. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I do. I've had the same experience with my dad.
I know you do. That's why I said that.
I love my dad. Like, let the records show. I love my dad.
I know this.
He's got his
You
faults.
love your mom more, and I actually respect that.
I mean, I love them equally. Let's not say more or less either one.
The fact that you actually, there's a lot of guys that hate women. I hate guys that hate women.
Okay, I mean, that's a different topic. I mean, I don't hate women by any means.
I know it's foreign to you. Listen, I've met guys that literally you've never met a
That hate women? Like, what you mean by hate women?
with
Like
the fucking passion,
like,
bro.
screw you. You got a vagina. I'm not gonna like. That doesn't make
like
sense to
they
me.
they would
Serge.
want to fuck the vagina, but they hate it as they're fucking it.
Nah, I can't say I met one like that. I mean,
I
met
know,
a lot of
that's-
guys
that's
who
why I
talk a lot
love-
of like weird.
That's why I love talking to you, because we're so from different. Like, I never hated women. My dad loved women.
Like, again, racism or sexism.
Exactly,
It's
it's
the same
so
thing.
foreign to you because
Why
you're
would-
so
Yeah.
you're so kind. You're so compassionate. You've never met a person. You never met a guy that hated women.
For strictly being a woman?
Yeah.
Uh,
Just like people hate people for being black or Jews. You can't tell me you never met a person that hated people for being black.
I mean, I guess it's hard to tell.
Do you understand
Because, I mean, like, how do you know they hate them? Like, is it the jokes they say? Because, I mean, like, jokes are jokes. And
Listen,
that
me
doesn't-
and you,
dictate hate, though. Yeah.
I don't fucking relate to it. But because I didn't relate to it, I was like, ooh, that's fucking new. I never thought
Okay.
about it.
How does that manifest itself? How does someone hate women? Like,
I'll tell you.
please.
Let me explain. You've never seen this.
Like, oh,
Imagine.
look
No,
at
no.
that.
I'll bring you around.
Please.
I'll bring you around to a different life.
Okay.
I fortunately was brought up with the most amazing fucking female in the world. Like, honest. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So amazing that the females in my family didn't realize just how fucking awesome my dad was. No, listen. My mom was such... It's so hard to actually, like, verbalize it. My mom was such a fucking beast. Boss. Zero jealousy. I had my dad's back through thick and thin. But yet at the same time, my dad fucking had her back through thick and thin. My dad literally, like, when he talked about my mom, he was like, listen, I would not give a fuck about any, like, if there was a hotter bitch that came around, I would not give a fuck about her at all. Because, like, literally, there was a picture of, like, I was looking, like, in the 1940s, there were 6 women to each guy. Do you know that? Because through the Second World War, all the guys died. My dad was alive. He had the pick of all the bitches. He stayed true to my mom.
Okay.
My mom was such a badass bitch that she knew that he gave a fuck about her. He had another female living in our house. Did not give a fuck about her sexually. Like, that might be hard to imagine that. When I talk to my dad, like, because like I said, I know me and him are like almost like clones. I give a fuck about shit. My wife. There's no women. They admire powerful males. And the good and the bad, right? I'll accept that. I also see where some females lose track of that and might get confused. I don't mind because, like, I understand it further than that. you know. But I know I found the bad bitch for the rest of my life. You understand that, right? Like, scoot back in because you're out of focus.
Am I?
Yeah.
It's your cameraman.
Let me adjust.
Oh, shit.
So this is how much of a boss my dad is, right? I always say is like a Jew will never tell you that he's a Jew. You just know.
Okay.
A boss will never tell you that he's a boss. You just know. And like, not to get too egotistic about it, but like, he was almost too. I always thought my dad was too egotistic, but I realized he's almost like too kind for his own good. He was not even able to tell my sisters how much of a boss he was for them to recognize that he did not give a fuck sexually about any other female because he found the baddest fucking bitch in the world. When he said that me and your mom never had a single even instance of jealousy. When he said it, I was like, I made my mistakes, but I know people. When they tell me honesty, I could read it. When he said that, like, I knew that was fucking legit. Like, when he said that, like, when he met my mom and the kind of connection that they had, it was so deep and so legit. It was almost like, fuck, I don't even know if I can live up to that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I mean, I can't relate because I don't have that, but I get what you're saying.
It's hard. It's still hard for me to try to like live up to that and understand it.
It is amazing though.
Oh, but I didn't even understand that until I sat down with him and talked to him for like fucking 2 hours. Like, cause honestly, like I was almost like the driving force for the hate in our family towards him. It's sad to see that.
I get that.
You might not because like you don't.
I do.
Yeah, because like you are one of those people in your family that
I don't want
like,
to dig too deep in that, but Surj, I get it, man. I get it.
I know, because that's why we connect.
We've had this conversation,
So how do you hope in the best case scenario and worst case scenario for your dad? I'll be honest.
No, it is a great question. Again, Surj, my whole worldview is through my Christian lens, my Christian perspective.
I respect it. Like,
I hope
do you know genuinely?
I really hope you do.
Hey, word to whatever is out there. Like, I've gone through my different phases of believing 100% in Christianity to like hating it, whatever. I know for you, like honestly, for you, that actually works.
No, I mean, you're gonna hate something, hate it for the right reasons. I hate people
tell
for
me
the
from
right
your
reasons.
Christian viewpoint about your dad.
No, I mean, what I want to say is my all of my worldview, everything stems from my Christianity. Like everything, I see everything from the Christian
What
lens.
do you see about your dad?
Man. See, this is why, and this is what my sisters, I believe, suffer too. Is that they don't see my dad as another person like me and you.
Yeah,
because he legitimately is another person with
Amen.
his struggle. Like, and you see that for your dad. I swear,
Yeah.
I'm sure you do.
I've only recently realized that.
And it does, as children, it does take us a bit to see that in our own parents, to see that them as they were where we're at,
Yes.
right? Like, it does take us a long time to see that.
Okay. Let me,
Please.
if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
If I've been talking too much, like,
Nah, it's your podcast.
but I don't like. This is
no,
where my
Surj, you do you.
this is where my wife is the best. Is like she tells me like, "Hey, let other people talk."
Surj, you do you.
I'll say my viewpoint, and I really want to hear yours. Male, female, whatever the fuck. Like, even if you don't identify on 100% on that spectrum or the other, I'm genuinely saying, like, I actually recently realized, not recently, like, I actually knew that from a young age, even though I was 100% straight. I realized not everybody is exactly like me. Not everybody identifies with, like, connecting with the opposite sex or, like, this or the other. But from my perspective, I've realized if you're a male and you're like almost like too fucking male, right? There's a lot of greatness and a lot of hate that comes from that. Be careful where you guide your energy towards. You either love or hate that, whatever you are, and it'll lead to your greatness or destruction. Hopefully you don't let it lead to your destruction. Your father, no matter how fucked up he is, like, listen, sometimes, like I said, like, like, whoever you fucking keep yourself around, that's what you're gonna pick up. Be okay with that. Understand, like, you made mistakes before, like, those people, like, led you towards that direction or this or whatever. Go towards what makes you stronger.
I mean, let's see. You were asking about, like, I guess my dad and our relationship. Yeah, I mean, and like I was telling you earlier too, is that we gotta glean what we can off who we can, right?
Yeah.
Our fathers are people. They get their faults.
So are you.
So are you. So are me.
Yeah.
And we gotta accept that reality. We can't ever accept that we've actually made it.
Yeah.
Right? Like that whole anti-mentality.
The dumbass said he knows.
Yeah, right. So we always got to be learning. And that's where, I mean, again, I like a Christian worldview. I think.
Can I ask you something really fucked up?
Go ahead.
I'm actually really going to ask you something fucked up, but I know you're smart enough to know this.
I'm okay with this.
Don't you think your dad thinks that he knows the best?
Oh yeah, of course.
Right?
Dude. Yeah, of course. And see,
that's why we have to always check ourselves and zoom out.
And that's what I was gonna talk to you about.
Let's
too.
cheers to that.
Let's cheers to that. We're gonna talk about this.
I actually really want to get into that. And who gives a fuck if you don't have 3 hours? Listen, just break it up. We've been 3 hours in.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Like, better question is if you got 3 hours, because I got all day.
I got all day and then some.
Oh, good. So this is what actually was going to bring up earlier today too, is
just adjusted, Howard.
Yeah. We know our dads. We know their faults, right? Now, you think our dads didn't have the same question at 30 years old.
100%.
So like when we're at their age,
This is my point.
do you think we'll be
We
like
move
them?
on. The world is optimistic.
Now, do you think we'll be as stubborn as they are? Because my dad is stubborn.
To your son, you will be. But what is actually like happy for me is I know that my son is going to be so much fucking more optimistic than I am, that he's going to realize all my faults and everything else, that he's going to be so much beyond me. And I would have to respect that and be like, yo, listen, son, let me learn from you.
I think it takes a big man to do that, but like,
Yeah, you don't think so? Yeah, obviously. If you're not man enough to know that your generation that you birth is better than you, then you're not fucking a man.
Surj, like
That's a boss fucking move.
I've learned a lot of like really interesting things for people that are 10 years younger than me, that I'm just surprised that I would even like consider their advice just based on their age. But what they told me, and I'm like,
You know that's why we're friends, right?
I'm not 10 years. 31,
No.
37.
Because
6
you either,
years.
I've never met anybody that's so pessimistic yet so optimistic. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, like what
You
there's a
understand,
name
like
for that,
such a
right?
broad spectrum.
Again, I don't know why that is, Surj. You know, and I hope you're
Don't
what
question
you're
it.
saying is right.
I
I
don't even think of yourself that you're so fucking special.
I don't. Like
I know that.
full
That's
well
why
that
we're
I'm not.
friends. Like I said,
That's what you said earlier to the whole uniqueness thing. I really doubt I'm like the only one, especially like listening to YouTube. I know I'm not.
you're rare. You're rare. I'll give you that. Like, consider that. Like, take that.
Sure.
Appreciate that. But you're rare, but you're not unique. Like, you're not the only one. Seek
Great
out,
feeling, man. I don't want to be unique.
dude. Amen.
100%, man. I don't
If
want to
I'm
be
the only
unique.
fucking person in this world, it would be fucking sad. So I seek out those other unique individuals that could, like I said, I met that one for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
And I don't even consider myself as great as that person, but I connected with that person. You know what I mean? So like, whatever you are, whatever your unique fucking light in this world is, appreciate it. Don't think too greatly of it. Just move on. Just keep moving forward. You'll find other people way more fucking awesome than you.
Like I said, man, my parents, my sisters cuddled me when I was growing up, and
I grew up with sisters. Do you know that? Even though I have
because
4 other brothers,
you were one of
but
the
I
youngest.
grew up.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah, dude. I had baths in fucking chamomile. Like I was fucking cuddled, bro. Like I was a fucking puss.
Yeah, I can't say I've had that.
Yeah, I know, right? So I had
Baths
way more
in-
extremes than you.
Chamomile. Damn.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that soothing?
Oh, fucking amazing. That's
Oh,
why I
God.
till this day I'm like, I enjoy baths and I enjoy my time, my me time.
Your chamomile?
Romashka, you know, like in
Is that
Russian.
what that is?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's good in every extreme. Don't take every extreme as the righteous truth.
Sure, and I think any person with sensible, even like the slightest bit of wisdom would
Wisdom is rare. Common sense is not so common.
that's a thing I think I wanted to talk about on this podcast actually. We're talking about like, you know, innate gifts and innate whatever's things you're born with, things like, oh, actually your last podcast, nature versus nurture, right? Like
Yeah.
things you were born with, things you were raised with, but even beyond that, things that just happen to you.
Yeah.
Right. As a child,
You can't do anything about that. Whatever
Yeah.
fucking happens.
yeah, right. And I believe there's a lot more to that than we want to really acknowledge, because as a child, I think I was maybe 5, maybe 6, like a child, right? Like just a baby. I heard someone talk about the wisdom, again, back to Christianity, back to the wisdom of Solomon. But Solomon had this plea, this prayer. And he's like, God, I don't want anything. I just want wisdom. That's all I want. My 5-year-old, 6-year-old self heard this, and I was like, well, that sounds great. If this great king who had all these things doesn't care about any of that, just wants wisdom, like, I want that too. Like, if he wants it, I want it too. And it was childish.
I've heard that from my dad. My dad is very wise,
way.
but there's a fucked up thing that happened.
What happened?
So I actually said this to my dad. I was like, you've always emphasized wisdom. What do I tell you? Ask God for wisdom above anything else. I'll repeat that over and over. Wisdom, 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 wisdom. After like the 30th fucking time, you don't even know what the fuck that word is. Right? The only thing is that, like, I really respected my dad when I told him this. I was like, yeah, Dad, do you know you kind of fucked up in that sense, right? Where it's like, you understood you had a lot of wisdom and you tried to pass that on to us. But unless you sit down and you explain to that kid, because for you, you know exactly what the fuck that means. You know exactly what wisdom means. Wisdom is a word. I say it in English. I say it in Spanish. I say it in French, whatever. If I say it to you in French, you'd be like, what? Et quoi? What the fuck? So make sure to your kid, when you tell them, this is what it means to me. Right? Do you get my drift? Like, when I ask God or whatever the fuck, like that other entity, or like you seek out, when you talk to yourself, like, listen, I realize I might be gifted in this, or I have all these things that were given to me, like Solomon was, whatever. You realize, like, I don't give a fuck about any of that. If I could find innate truth, whatever the fuck I do, that's what I want. Like, if you're able to explain to your kid that, then you actually understand wisdom. Just like one of the best physicists. I'll actually have to look up his name, because like he's a black physicist. He's very wise, and he says, like, if you're not able to explain to a 6-year-old what the fuck you do, you don't know what you do.
That drives back to what I said earlier, right? If you can't explain what you firmly believe you believe in,
you don't know.
You don't know. You legitimately don't know.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and when I said that to my dad, like, respected him, he was like, oh, shit. Like, he understood it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's the thing. Like, literally, wisdom above everything else. But you have to understand what the fuck that word means.
Yeah. It's we go through stages in our lives, right? And I think most of us do. Even the people who are going to listen to this, they understand that, right?
Yeah.
The last stage I've conquered in my life was the financial one. Like, I'm finally at
You're
that.
way better than me on that. I'm just going to say that, but okay, talk to
No,
me.
my only point is, like, I am financially, I am okay where I'm at. Like, I have got enough
100%. savings.
I've got enough experience.
You're not quite at the fuck you money, but you're all right.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the FU money. That's a lot of money.
knowing you, I know that's a lot of money. But knowing you, I know you're going to get there.
That's in the millions, if not billions.
We'll talk.
Now.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk after the podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about the inflation and all that.
Yeah, and Bitcoin. And all that.
There's more to it.
No, but beyond that, like, I'm at a stage in my life where, like, I know if I didn't make another dollar for the rest of my life, I'd be okay. For at least 10 years, I'd be okay.
I literally know that about you.
Yeah. But so, like, I reached that moment in my life, And I mean, I wish I didn't need that in my life. But like, I think I'm gonna speak to males on this podcast who are listening to this. But like, as men, we need that. I think that's innate in our nature. We need to be able to know. Let's talk about like even an evolutionary perspective, right? We need to provide for our families. We need to provide and support them.
So I'll explain for the females, right? Because I grew up with females, and I was almost like too much female when I grew up. What that means, what you're saying is, like, women want a man that understands the female perspective, but they don't want a female.
Huh?
All right? Do you understand?
No, say that one more time.
Women want a solidarity, a harshness to a certain point where that person could defend them where they're lacking, but at the same time they don't want that to be turned on them.
Okay.
Are we?
Yeah. No, we're vibing. Yes.
Right. Don't get those two confused.
Yeah.
Look, let me continue.
Yeah.
Right.
Ahead.
So, like, every guy, like, I don't know, because I can't relate to a person that might be on a different spectrum sexually than me, and like literally respect to people that are, because I realize that not everybody. I literally just got the fucking luck of the draw that I was 100% on the heterosexual spectrum. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, I know there's people that are not 100%. There's people that are 90%. There's people that are 95, 80, 70, maybe 50-50. No, listen, we all know. Like, do you know people? Do you know?
Surj,
be honest.
I work with a lot of like gay men, so like,
how do you recognize that?
They tell me they're gay. How do I recognize that?
How do you reconcile that in your own mind with Jesus Christ and everything else?
No, I mean, time and a place, man. Like if we go out,
like I said, you could be allergic to peanuts. You could die from peanuts. You could die from penis.
Sir, I'm not allergic to gay, so
I know you're not. That's why I like talking to you, because you're very pessimistic, but yet at the same time so fucking optimistic. That's why I literally,
Surj,
out of all the people there, I like to.
Surj.
No,
go ahead.
I mean it in the most like awesome way.
And I know you do.
Out of all the people that I talk to,
Surj, I'm not gonna hate my gay coworkers for being gay. Like, we go out, we get drinks, we talk. Like, it's like, I'm not gonna hate them. I'm not gonna hate them for being gay. You know, like, like, I mean, there's not as much to talk about. I'm not gonna lie, right? Because I'm not gonna.
Me too. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I can't quite relate because I didn't grow up in that.
Yeah,
but
like,
just I like talking to you.
So it's like we go out.
You're not gay, but you're so different to me.
Yeah, but like,
do you know that?
I hope so.
I'm not calling you gay.
I hope you're not, because you're wrong.
Because I know you're like very
no, like in the medical field, in the nurses I work with, there is a lot of gay males.
But they're very caring.
I mean, they have their people like me and you. Like, some of them are caring, some of them are assholes.
They're gonna fuck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're not all the same, and I'm not gonna hate them for who they sleep with.
If I ever had a co-host, which probably I would never have, but if I had,
I'll take the job. Please hire me, Surj.
No,
10%.
This is where I think where people, if they seek out the opposite completely the opposite of what they believe, there's wisdom in that.
No, I mean, I think I get where you're coming from, and a lot of Christian people, or I guess the stereotypical what you think of Christianity is that Christian people hate the gay people. It's complete what's it? Abomination.
Talk to him because
abomination, whatever, right?
Very tricky.
No, I get it. And I guess dicey territory, but like, I'm not gonna hate my gay coworkers for them being gay. It's like I'm not gonna hate my drunk coworkers for being drunks or anything, right? Like, I'm not gonna hate them for what they do, because in my
all
faith,
God's children.
First of all, yes. But second of all, like if you guys knew my life. Like, it's
I'm not gonna dig into it, because, like I said,
no, it's fine if you did, but like,
we have plenty of time. Like I said, with my dad, he's gonna be here till he's 120, and I'm gonna be here till I'm 140. Yeah. We will have plenty of times. I value my time with you, like, genuinely, like, and I know what you're trying to get at. I hope when we get together, this is only the third episode, fucking third podcast, whatever.
And the first one for me.
Yeah, first one.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring on people here, it's not because, like, you're fun, you're fucking funny, whatever. I value that as much as anything else. But if a person can be funny, fun, fucked up, yet at the same time could explain how they're intelligent in that way, I value that more, because that's true ingenuity. That's true genius. Like I said, I had the discussion with my dad after the podcast. Like, genius is a fucking funny word. The more you believe it, the more it shows you how fucking dumb you are, right? Yeah. So if I could hope for anything, it is like, this is only the third podcast, like third episode, whatever.
Yeah, like I said, Surj, like I think, I'm not saying I gotta figure it out, but I think a lot of people in my religious communities, they've got it wrong. They've
not necessarily wrong.
No.
But there might be on their way, hopefully on their way to figuring it out.
Well, yeah, hopefully. But
I don't care. Like, because I said, I have my closest brother that's dying. He's not going to figure it out. Like, as sad as it is, he's going to die probably not figuring it out. I don't mind that, because we're all here for a certain reason. Like, I don't know what your reason is here. I don't know what my reason is here. I hope that at the end, whatever we're meant to be here for, we might, at the very last moment, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because, like, sometimes, like, we think we got to figure it out, whatever. You talk to your grandma, you talk to your parents, whatever. They'll be like, my mom, at her dying breath, said this. Like, fuck. I hope we all come to that.
Surj, I'm there with you. I want everyone to be there in heaven, enjoying a good time.
This is the other flip side of that, right? Yeah. So I played that, like, as the happy Bayside. Whatever.
And you heard my criticisms of that. So,
yeah. So I'll give you the other side of that.
Yeah.
If anybody's listening, if you're watching, watch Tupac's.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Please don't watch that.
Listen.
Just complete garbage. Don't watch that.
Listen. So, Tupac, his song, Thugs Mansion. Do you know the song?
I thought you played it earlier.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
And if I get banned for this, whatever, I honestly don't give a fuck. But
Yeah.
I probably won't. But like, what I'll say is this: is like, Tupac is probably like in 300 years might be the Black Jesus. He had a lot of insights. He had a lot of wisdom. Like, honestly, like, listen to him 30 years from now. Talk to him. Because right now, you like, whatever, like, even 96, if you were, like, growing up, you might think this way or the other. He had a lot of insights, just like Jesus knew that he was going to die. Just look into it. Right. But his song, Thug's Mansion, what he says in that is, I don't know if tomorrow I die and I'm going to meet Jesus, how Jesus is written in and spoken in church. And this Jesus that is like all righteous and all knowing and all powerful. I don't know if I relate to that 100%. But it's called Thug's Mansion.
I get that.
So what it says is like, I hope that there's a Thug's Mansion after we close our eyes for the last time. And I hope that when I meet God, not Jesus, God, and I'm dumb and smart enough to know that there might not be a God. It's special to think that there might be a fucking afterlife. But you can't tell me that. I can't tell you that. This way or the other, right? You might need more whiskey for that.
That's fine.
But if I close my eyes for the last time and I think that God is a person that is all knowing, all nice, all glamorous, all fucking beautiful. But I'm not exactly that person. But I know, like, me and you are super opposite, right? Right? We connect.
No, we do, for sure.
If I die, I'd love to see you tomorrow. But this is what that song says. Thug's Mansion. I hope there's a place for somebody like me. But if not, if God is not like me, I hope there's another place that the only way you can get in is if you're a G. You don't have to. There's no bullshit. You're not like, what the fuck? Hold on.
Tired of getting shot at, tired of getting chased by the police, arrested. Niggas need a spot where we can kick it, a spot where we belong, that's just for us. Niggas ain't gotta get all dressed up and be Hollywood. You know what I mean?
You don't have to pretend.
Ain't no heaven for a thug, nigga. That's why we go to Thug Mansion. That's the only place where thugs getting free and you gotta be a G. At Thug Mansion. A place to spend my quiet nights. Time to unwind, so much pressure in this life of mine. I cried times I once contemplated suicide and would have tried, but when I held that now, all I could see was my mama's eyes. No one knows my struggle, they only see the trouble, not knowing it's hard to carry on when no one loves you.
All right, so Arthur, he tapped out. Aaron, if you're on this podcast, pause it right here, because I gotta take a piss too. This guy, dude, I have to take a.
I guess closing remarks, guys. I hope you've taken what we've said with, obviously with a grain of salt. Make your better decisions.
Hold on.
Listen to what we said. Take our advice or don't. That's fine.
Hold on.
You've heard both sides of the argument. I am a religious man. Surj claims he's not. You've heard both of our takes.
Honestly.
Yeah, and you've heard both of our takes. Take it with what you will. And just...
Can I say something?
The floor is yours, Surj.
Your last name is Fox.
It sure is.
Have you ever... Obviously, you've heard... Sly like a fox. Dumb like a fox. Have you ever heard that?
No, I have now. No, before this, no.
Really?
No.
Let me explain that.
Please.
Forever in my life, I would always want to be dumb like a fox. A fox is very intelligent. A fox is very smart. But yet, they can play dumb to figure out how smart the other person is.
You say play dumb as if like I'm being duplicitous.
Yes.
In what sense am I duplicitous?
You're not, but you're too smart to know that you actually are.
Okay, wait. You lost me there.
Oh, okay.
Surj,
the reason
you
why...
know me, I'm very straightforward with
You
my everything. I get the whole stereotype of a fox, but I don't think I'm anything near that.
You'll come to know it. Because, like I said, I've never met another person in my life so far, but except that one person that we talked about, that is able to instill so much wisdom without trying to.
Okay. That's definitely a compliment. Thank you. Instill wisdom without trying to. I just hope in the future to have more of that.
I think you will.
wrong.
If you don't, we're not gonna be friends. But
No, I think
I
you're
have
wrong
hopes for you.
by every means.
That's what gives me hopes.
And I get that, right? Like, the wise person thinks, "Oh, I'm not so wise," and right, but they
Or
really
the
are.
dumbass thinks that they're fucking smart.
Smart as hell.
Yeah.
I get that, and that's just a natural reflection of a person who's wise, or right? Cause it's ironic, right? Because the wise people think they're dumb. Dumb people think they're wise. I don't care to look too far into that because I'm
Amen.
more out for me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I want people to realize is that there's no shame in realizing you're out for you more than right there.
Amen.
Because that's an objective truth. You are out for you. I am out for me.
Look out for number one, so you can look out for number two.
And that really is.
If you don't look out for number one, there's no fucking way that you could tell to number two that I really give a fuck about you.
I agree with that 100%. So, people listening to this, 100%, like, look out for yourself. Do you know who Milo Yiannopoulos is?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So, like, in the Christian community, right? Like, obviously, he's not really referenced too much, right? Like,
Yeah.
openly gay male, whatever. But my pastor in Vancouver, at Water Grace, he referenced one of his books, right? And he got a lot of flack for that. But he said the smartest thing. He said a few smart things. But he said, make you the best you can be, and everything will fall in line. As far as, like, finding that the partner you want to be with, or finding your place in life. And it comes from just from a Christian perspective, it comes from just the most unnatural source you can
Human
think of.
race perspective.
So that's when I said, Surj, I don't believe in the religion me and you came from at all.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense.
But it makes sense to you, and I respect that.
No, but it doesn't, Surj. The religion me and you come from, the Christianity that you were born with and I was born with, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
To you?
The Christianity that me and you we came from, it doesn't make sense. It really limits us from a lot of things. So
are you coming to
no, Surj, I have not. I don't take back anything I've said during this talk. 100. I just want people to realize that Christianity is not what our parents made it to be.
Make it your own.
Oh, 100%. Oh my gosh, 100% make it your own. Realize it to be bullshit or realize it to be true.
It could be what your parents wanted it. It could be 100% not. I had the talk with my dad. We have different kings. If you're born in a different geography, you'd have a different king, but every king prays to God. Have you ever heard that?
No, I can't say I have.
Really?
Every king prays to a god?
Husband, wife, husband, king, God. There's nothing higher.
Well, then God himself, sure. I mean, I think we agree on that point, right?
Do you understand it, though?
I mean, I think we do. Unless I'm missing something.
I'm not sure if you're ready to understand it.
I'm just happy we understand it together.
I don't think you understand that. I actually don't give a fuck what you believe. I recognize your God in you. Like, whether it's me that is on my way to find God, Christianity, whatever the fuck, like, whichever way I find my peace. Like I said, we're on this fucking short spaceship ride.
Rocket ship, yeah.
Nothing is guaranteed at the end. Nothing. Like, you could die, you think, if I just believe this, I'm going to have this. None of that. Nothing is promised. Your destiny for right now, what your consciousness is right now, your destiny is to fucking figure it out for whatever you're meant to be for right now. Whether you come to a very big understanding or like a very broad perspective of the world, of the meaning of life, whatever the fuck it is, or it's just like whatever the fuck you were meant to be. Like, because like I said, my brother is gonna die, he's gonna be angry, whatever the fuck it is, just realize that's your circle around this fucking big hot marble that we're circling around. Maybe tomorrow, when you close your eyes for the last time, there might be something, might be nothing, but special to think that there's something afterwards. But even if there's not, you contributed something. Because that brother, I wish that, like, when we lived on this earth together, we could come to a meaningful, beautiful, kind understanding. Maybe that's not what his life it was. Like, it's fucked up. It's sad, right? I don't know when my life is done, when my eyes close for the last time, what the fuck I was meant to be here for, or his life, or whatever. It's too egoistic to think that, like, I'm gonna be alive forever. Maybe, hopefully, I would love to. I would love to see my mom. I'd like to see my dad. I don't know. I can't tell you for real. You can't tell. But just do the best you can. When your eyes open, do the best every day.
I guess we can end on that, huh?
I think so.
I mean, obviously we disagree on a few things, but I think our goal in life is the same. Honestly, though.
Yeah.
Based on everything we said today, I think we want the same future for both me and you.
Amen.
Cool.
All right, brother.
It's a good close to our podcast, huh?
It was awesome.
Yeah. Cool, man.
I hope many more.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right, brother. Bye.